Hello and welcome to a special episode of BROKAKAKA. I'm Jim.
I'm Sam.
And I'm the Shuckmeister.
Hey,
Welcome.
welcome.
What a beautiful doing.
Hilarious, funny
Chew.
joke. Thanks so much for coming on. This is like for our community. Like we have a pretty small little Discord community and like a little whatever fan base, I guess. But there is like so much. Like they talk about Shuckmeister so much. It's so fucking funny to finally have you on.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that could be either good or bad.
Well, that's the funny thing. Like I think I would like to just talk about your kind of persona for a little bit because I
Sure.
think it's really interesting, and I think you've done a really good job at capitalizing on like things that help like YouTube expose people better, like get better exposure. So when did you really start uploading? And, like, what did you really start with on your channel?
So I guess the beginning was in 2014. It was all with video game related stuff, movie reviews, a lot of Pokemon. The Shuckmeister. I got a whole video that's going to come out for my 213,000 subscriber special because 213 is the Pokedex number of Shuckle. And that's like the origin of my whole channel and everything, and I'm super excited. But yeah, it sort of started with that. I moved in and out of different sorts of fandoms and different things, and then around 2016, I started watching JoJo's. Started making memes around 2017, and then it sort of just evolved from there.
Mm-hmm. That's funny. That's kind of when I actually started watching too. It was like right after Part 4 had ended, the Part 4 anime.
Right.
You
So
guys
I
came
started,
late.
I think the second half of Part 4 was airing. So I
Right.
tried to get caught up by the end of the season. I didn't make it before the season finale, but I watched it all, and it was so good.
Yeah, I really love the Part 4 anime in particular. I think they really
Yeah.
did a great job with that one.
I think that personally might be one of my favorites, like, to be adapted so far.
I think it's just so interesting because like of all the other parts, like the reason like one of the first things someone said, yeah, part 4 is airing right now. The sky is piss colored for some reason, but I don't know.
That's one thing I love about it. I love that like the difference in like aesthetics that they went with Part 4 makes it stand out so much.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
like the movie that made it film in Spain for the aesthetic.
Yeah.
It's funny because when I started, like, I remember the first like moment of the Part 5 anime when that came out, and I was honestly bummed when I saw the sky was bright blue. I was like, oh,
Yeah, it was
damn.
all normal. God.
You want that piss yellow Italian sky.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's really funny. Like how it's funny the JoJo like communities online are like so ravenous when it comes to content. Like they just love to talk about it constantly. And it seems like I remember seeing your channel pop up when you were like a lot smaller and like just exploding. A lot of people I feel like I remember seeing Medi at like maybe I think when I saw Medi had like 2,000 or 20,000 subscribers, and now I just checked yesterday. I was like, oh my god, he's got like 130 or something.
180, I think. He's way
Damn.
up there. Yeah.
Wow.
It's just crazy, like the meteoric rise of all these like JoJo YouTube channels. It's
And
really
it's
cool.
so weird too, because I watched all of them, X-Force, Medi, Caleb, all the other small channels that I'm now friends with. It's so weird because these people have been doing it for, a year or two, maybe 3 longer than I have, right? So it's
Yeah.
just been like kind of humbling to now be with all these people that I enjoyed their content for so long, and like now I'm up there too.
Yeah, it's super cool, and like congrats. I mean, I don't watch all of your videos. I'm gonna be honest.
Nah, that's okay.
But,
they're all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that you post a lot, and like I saw your whole thing recently. I don't know if you want to get into it, but the whole thing with YouTube saying that you hadn't uploaded a video in like a year or something.
Oh, yeah. So basically, YouTube doesn't think my channel's existing right now. I've gotten so many comments about people not receiving notifications for videos. And like you saw recently, I don't know if you saw that PewDiePie got, I guess, quote unquote, shadow banned for like a
Whoa,
day.
I didn't see that actually.
Okay, so one of his videos, like, way underperformed. It got something like 60,000 views, which, for me, 60,000 views is like, oh my God, that's great, right? But for PewDiePie, who gets like 5 million views on every video, that's terrible, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's an error in the algorithm. I've had issues like with this going back for like a month or two, where people just won't see my videos pop up, right? And I know people want to watch them. I'll poll them on the community tab. I'll poll them on Twitter. I'll let them know, hey, this is the day I'm going to upload. People still don't watch the stuff. So I just got YouTube to start an investigation into my channel yesterday. The requirements to get them to do that, though, were like, okay, so make sure your subscribers send you a screenshot of their notification feed, a screenshot of their channel, or a link to their channel, a screenshot of your channel showing they have all notifications turned on. Like, it was so arbitrary, right? But hopefully we'll see what's happening. I just think it's an error in the algorithm. Like, something's changing, something's adjusting. The fact that big channels like PewDiePie are experiencing the same thing to an extent means, okay, it's a little settling for me, because that means, okay, we'll get over this, we'll adapt, we'll change, keep going.
I mean, there's a reason why the algorithm is just a meme at this point.
Right, no one understands it.
Yeah.
Even the AI that run it don't understand it.
It's the reason why everybody knows the word algorithm, honestly.
Yeah, really. It's funny, like, I like to look at how words were used in the past and how they are now, like, in a post-internet world. And there's so many examples of, like, weird terms like that people use all the time. Like, yeah, algorithm is one. I mean, meme, the term meme. It's not pre-internet, but it like existed in a pre-modern internet world.
I mean, once Revengeance came out, like everybody like joked about the word meme because they said it so much in it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah,
Yeah,
YouTube's a mess.
Oh, it is. But
mess.
like the fact that you were mentioning like earlier, I do a lot of things that are super getting people active in the community. I think that's one of the most fun aspects about having a channel, having an audience, is that I like collaborating with people. I just like talking, I guess.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm very introverted, extroverted. Like, I don't know. I love to listen too. So like when I'm in a group of people, like, at a party or whatever, I'm a very good listener because I like hearing different people's perspectives. But I think on YouTube, I try to flip that a little bit, and I try to go more extroverted, at least recently, especially because you could look at some of my older content and I'm very monotone, very stoic.
Yeah,
My delivery isn't necessarily the best.
You don't find your YouTube voice until you're like get experience. So
right. But I think I've done a lot better at that, and I've had projects like meme reviews, and sometimes on Stand Science or playing Among Us with the friends. Like, it's just it's a fun experience, and I'm so grateful that everyone's here and people are willing to do it in the first place.
I mean, I saw myself die in one of your Among Us videos, so I saw myself being thrown into a volcano. I was just like, wow.
Yeah, someone, I think one of our mods or someone on our Discord was like, yeah, I think Sam got killed in a Shuckmeister video.
I did.
And then I looked, I was like, oh my god, it was just really funny. Because we played, I think we just played that one time, I think it was shortly after we had done our BROKAKAKA with exports. He invited us to the server, and then we'd all played.
No, I think people were like, "Oh, you hate exports" or something. I'm like, "What? No,
What?
No, I'll show you us playing Among Us. Like this guy's super great."
That's the funny thing about like the whole YouTuber persona thing that I think is really like everyone wants YouTubers to interact, and like it's kind of like this like the fantasy that like everyone that's a celebrity knows each other. It's like they want all the big JoJo YouTubers to like have feuds or be best friends. I don't know. It's really, I think it's very fascinating.
It is. It's definitely interesting because some aspect of it is tribalistic, but some aspect of it comes from a genuine place of like, oh, you just want to see all these people come together. It's a wholesome aspect of it. So you got to find a good balance.
Most of my knowledge of I don't like look into a lot of YouTube channels as much, but like all my knowledge just comes from like other people, like, or especially the Discord. Like I'd never heard of like so many JoJo tubers, and I'm just like hear about them for the first time, and I just have to judge them by like what people like, the general opinions of like what people say.
Right, I know, because there's so many smaller ones, but that's the incredible thing about JoJo's is that you have this anime and manga, and the YouTube community specifically, like put aside like the Reddit, the art community, the YouTube community specifically does so much with just this one franchise. It's incredible. I don't think I've seen any other community do what we do the way we do it.
Mm-hmm.
I always bring back to like the Pokemon community. You see all of the channels make the same videos, right? Top 10 favorite Pokemon, top 10 least favorite Pokemon, top 10 rock type Pokemon.
Top 10 gym leaders.
Gym leaders, yeah. They're all like the same style of videos, just different opinions, right? I think we have a lot of varying types of content. And I really enjoy that.
There's so many little things they talk about. There's always the music side, the visual side, like the story side. There's so many different sides to talk about in JoJo. And
right.
Like,
yeah, and even honestly, like our opinion, like the way that Sam and I kind of talk about JoJo is more so the manga. Like we have a series right now where it's kind of on hiatus, but we are rereading through part 3 and reading the manga instead of the anime and like giving our opinion on that. And like honestly coming out more favorable. Like I think the manga for part 3 is pretty superior. I think honestly I'm pretty of the opinion that the JoJo manga is just better than the anime, like it ever will be.
See, I think part by part you can make a case for that. Like I don't like Joseph so much in the part 2 manga as I do him in the anime. I also think part 5 in the manga, like let alone the bad scanlations that got everyone to hate part 5 before the anime, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's framed a little clearer in an animation form, and the tension is a lot better. Like you have the color palette changes, you have the sound design. Part 3, though, from what I've read, certainly is paced significantly better in the manga than it is in the anime. And I think that's just because it's the longest part in the anime. Like they have to make this go on for 50 episodes or whatever.
Like, when we reviewed the part 5 anime, like we saw like the BIG episode was like way better animated because there's a lot of more tension in it. And like
right.
That's true,
that one
actually.
You know what I think back to is the Seko versus Bruno fight. And like when he delivers that like final blow and the colors just explode on the screen, I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, that was right after the 7-page Muda too. So like that whole last stretch of just part 5 is so gloriously animated.
But then you get to like White Album, where we didn't like it nearly like as much as the manga was.
Yeah.
Because CG,
the ending of part 5, the ending of part 5 did look good. And the one thing that the JoJo anime has given us, which I think is honestly like probably my favorite thing about it, is the OPs. Like they're
so good.
Yes.
Like honestly, just my ideal way to experience any sort of animation is through like an awesomely timed intro.
Mm-hmm. And all the intros like have plot relevant stuff more or less.
Yeah, it makes it like really fun for a series veteran to like sit down and watch, and like there's so many references to like almost every part in the very first OP, and it's just crazy.
Right.
I mean, you see like everybody like in like just the first part of the first OP.
Yeah, that's such a crazy thing. Like I never noticed that until I think Mother's Basement had done like back when he used to do the What's in an OP videos. That was better than whatever he's doing now.
Sword art videos?
100% agree.
He like went over the first one and like how you see Jolene and then Jonah. I was like, whoa, I never even noticed that.
I love that Josuke's pose in that is I'm gonna punch that spaghetti.
I mean, it's probably his most battle ready pose of like him looking threatening.
It is. It's so great.
And not gonna do his looking to the sunset with his hand on his hip. Like
it's like my favorite pose. So this might be a good time to ask. So, general JoJo opinion. So, like, what's your favorite part?
Favorite part is 7.
Hell yeah.
Good choice.
Correct. I don't think that is going to change. I love JoJolion. However, I've been saying for a while now, depending on how JoJolion ends, it could be in my top 3 favorites or my top 3 least favorites.
Yeah, I always
it's
say
gotta
to hold
stick
off.
the landing.
Yeah, I would say to hold off opinions on part 8 until it's actually done.
Right. But if you want my order, I guess it goes 7, 5, 2, 4, 3, 6, 1 from favorite to least favorite.
That's like pretty close to probably my list is.
I was
Yeah.
really expecting 6 to be bottom for you because I know that
So
your
I
whole
had
persona
I had
is
a big discussion with one of my old roommates last night who just finished part 6 about why I think it's like down there and why I still think, even though I have like grievances with it, I still think it's technically written, like technical writing written better than part 1.
Mhm.
It is Araki coming into like his full form, trying to conclude this giant series of everything. Um, but it's like, also think about trilogies. Sometimes the weakest link in a trilogy is always the last movie
Mhm.
or the last part. That doesn't make it bad. It just doesn't make it my favorite,
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting that like a lot of people tend to agree that 7 is like their favorite, but 6 is the one that has like the most what's the word, like distance between opinions. Like some people think 6 is like the best. Like I remember when the Anime Man read through all JoJo, he's like by far part 6 is his favorite. Like
Yeah, I don't know
nothing
how.
comes close.
I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
didn't get that either. Like
I pressed that space bar so fast and I was like, chotomate.
I think I was like, I said, part 6 is a part of very high highs and a lot of low lows, and a lot of it just drags. The lows drag so hard.
Yeah,
And
Right.
I tend to
and I
agree.
said this before, that I had the mentality of everybody saying how amazing part 7 is, and I just really wanted to get through 6 to get to get to 7.
And that's the mindset of a lot of people, but I think it goes deeper than that. I think the reason that you feel it drag at some points is that so if you go back to Manga in Theory and Practice, like to summarize my big 75-minute review of part 6, right, into like a couple sentences, Araki says like the 4 elements of story writing are characters, setting, themes, and story, right?
Mhm.
And I think he said you can write a manga with only characters and none of the other things, but characters have to be there throughout, right? I
Mhm.
think in the latter half of Stone Ocean, it sort of drops characters and story down a peg to prop up setting and themes. And that's
Mhm.
primarily because it's so stationary for the first half of the part, which I don't find that as a negative. I know a lot of people say, oh, the first half of Stone Ocean is boring, but then it gets good, then it gets going in the second half. I actually like the characters a lot better at the beginning because I think they're more fleshed out and developed. But I know there's, again, scanlation errors and stuff that people don't see where it's going. And,
Mhm.
maybe if there are better translators out there and no dog park is going through.
Yeah.
And really, I've been reading those scans and been like, oh my God. I even mentioned in that review, I said, what if the scans were bad? And that's why I didn't like part 6. And now I'm seeing things like slowly but surely being set up from the beginning. And it's making it like to me, like when part 6 gets animated, there are going to be some things that they can change to make it more understandable to a general audience.
Mhm.
Maybe laying the foreground for like where it's going to go better than the scans I read. But there are some like fundamental decisions, like with the direction, certain character moments that
I mean,
they can't change. Yeah.
the part
Mhm.
5 anime added a bunch of stuff, so like,
Right. I'm trying to see like what would they do with Stone Ocean that they did in part 5.
I thought the part 5 editions were really clever because one of the things that JoJo doesn't really get into, because JoJo is a very like it is a very like monthly or weekly manga in that sense, where like there's a lot of like there's no extra fat to a lot of the chapters. I think like a lot of the time it's just like a character's doing something and we're focused on like that character, so we don't really get to set up a lot of these like villains, and like having all those little flashbacks with the execution squad or whatever they're called.
Oh
Hitman
yeah.
team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
having yeah, not yeah, the Hitman team rather. Having all of those is something that would not have really fit naturally into how like a weekly manga would have worked, but in the anime they work so well, I think.
Absolutely, 100%. And I'm
had-
kind of hoping like they do something along those lines with Dio's children and stuff, because I think that's one, like I've always said, that's probably one of the weaker aspects of Part 6.
Yeah,
I
would agree.
I agree.
That and not having a prison break. Like I had to go back and forth between like the two chapters.
Yeah, they get out of the prison
They're
way
in the
too
prison
easily.
and then they're out of the prison. I was like, what the hell?
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like I like them, like being out for like community service or something like that. But like they just straight up
Right.
just leave.
Right. And it's like little things like that I think David Production knows and can easily, elevate the part in those aspects.
Hey,
Mhm.
you would think maybe
Going-
after being in solitary confinement arc and just that being the chaos riot that should have like been it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got out through a prison riot. That
Yeah,
would have been cool.
from
Yeah.
Survivor or whatever.
Yeah.
It would have made a lot of sense, but I mean, there's a lot of things in that arc that don't make
We
too
got
much
Dragon's
sense,
Dream though.
Dragon's Dream. I love
Exactly.
it. I love to hate it.
It does. I think Dragon's Dream serves a really good purpose for like the fan base, because it's like, oh yeah, this is like the one thing that everyone can like group up on. Like everyone can, like the common enemy, if you will.
The
Right.
main villain.
And like I can even the problem with that stand is I can see what it's trying to represent. It's just a stand that conceptualizes fate, right?
Hmm.
And one mediator between fate. Like the Dragon's Dream doesn't care what happens to the user.
Which is awesome. Which I like that a lot. I think
Right,
it's clever.
right. It's just that whole fight is muddied down by too much exposition,
Mhm.
right? They could have easily condensed that in a way that, keeps it flowing a lot better. Because it's like, it does something, then Anisu explains what it's doing. It does something, then Anisu explains the background, right? So it goes back and forth between those two.
Going back to what you were saying earlier about the whole thing where like the whole JoJo, I think you were talking about more for like in the YouTube like and like other things where the whole JoJo fan base is like so there's just so much to it. But even like looking back, like we wouldn't have these translations if it wasn't for like highly dedicated people years ago that were like chugging away that really love the series, because it's one of those things that's kind of crazy. Like JoJo is so big in Japan, like it's such an immense thing there, and it's just weird that there weren't more efforts to bring it, even just bring the manga over.
Jim, it's
like-
called Diesel. Come on.
Yeah, I mean that's like the discussion we're having. Like that is a lot of people's first. Well, not a lot. That's not fair to say. That would be someone's first exposure to JoJo. Like in the '90s, would be like picking up Diesel or
Right,
more realistically watching the OVAs. But I mean, like the OVAs don't really capitalize on like what's great about JoJo. It's kind of just like this is like the most popular one, I guess. Like we'll give these a cool animation.
Well, don't forget in the early days of the internet, just like the downloads of like the Duang dub or. And
I
then
well, that's a
love
funny
looking
story.
into the lore about the Dwang scans. Like,
Yeah,
It's-
we were at a con. Sam and I went to a con. What was it? AUSA?
yeah, the USA.
And I think it was Kira Buckland and oh shit, what's his name?
Joey
Jo-
JoJo or something.
Yeah,
like
Joey
that?
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. He's some like other YouTube guy, I guess. They did like a whole JoJo panel for some reason, and they talked about like they went deep into the Duang stuff and like fascinating story.
oh, it's insane. It's insane. I love, like, okay, I did like a super deep dive into like the lost media of the Part 1 movie. I would love to do one for the Duang scans. Because I don't know, like Duang, it all stems. So I always say that at the end of every one of my videos because like it's probably one of, if not my favorite JoJo meme.
hmm
I think To Be Continued is a better meme, just a better meme format.
The roundabout one.
The roundabout one, yeah. I
It's
think
classic and like everyone can understand it.
right. I think that's a superior meme, but I think Duang is just like more of a community. Like you have to be one layer deeper into JoJo's to understand it. Right.
Mhm.
And it was so funny. One of my high school buddies started getting into JoJo this a while back, right? And he gets to part 4 and he's like, he drops it. And I'm like, what happened? And he's like, I can't understand this part. Why is everything Duang?
I am wood.
I am stupid.
Oh, this is so funny.
It's so fascinating.
Yeah.
And it's just like, honestly, like the core of that story is just like there was one super passionate fan that
In China.
wanted to share JoJo with. He wanted to share JoJo with more people, and it's kind of like the road to hell is paved with good intentions sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the guy who posted it, he sent it to, didn't want to like change it because he felt like he put so much work into doing it that he just posted it as is.
Yeah.
But the way I see it isn't that emblematic of our community? Like such a level of passion, right? To do something like that. And to make a meme, to leave an impact that just people are gonna remember forever. I don't know. I find that a little inspiring. Even though it's shit. But like
I mean, it became such a like a loving part of of the community now that like everybody accepts it. Like everybody, like when you think of Kira, you think of what a beautiful duang before anything else. Like you think of him chewing, saying the word
chew.
True.
Yeah, I love
it's
the Joel
it's super
dub.
cool.
That's like one of my favorite videos too.
Oh, it's so good.
He does a great job.
But kind of jumping back to, we were talking about like other JoJo stuff. So like, what is your favorite character? Who's your favorite like JoJo? I guess who's your favorite Jo Bro?
Ooh, okay. I've already done these because I have tons of ranking videos on these. Favorite JoJo. It's easily Giorno. Favorite Jo Bro is Gyro. Favorite Jo-Fo villain, Diego, absolutely. Favorite Jo-Ho, female character, Hot Pants. Favorite Jo-Doggo, Slow Dancer. Slow Dancer's not a dog, but it still works.
Say it's not a horse.
Right?
Johnny's best friend.
Favorite Jo-No, worst character in the bar, Joshu.
Yes, that's correct.
After that last chapter.
Yeah.
That's so okay. So I want to just go back a second. So Giorno, I think it's so interesting. Giorno is your favorite JoJo.
And I loved Giorno even before Part 5 was like
you don't like the main
finished animated.
He's not even the main character of his own part.
I know, but I think here's the thing: Part 5 happens in 1 week, and people say Giorno should have had some higher intellect or higher form of character development. I don't see it that way. It's kind of like why I love a movie like Kimi no Nawa. The characters are very stationary in their own character, right? But they fulfill the role they need to fulfill in the story, right? Now, you could argue, and I think it's a very valid argument, that Giorno is not the most interesting character in Part 5. And that's absolutely true. But I just think from his design, his stance ability, his personality, or some people would say lack thereof, is what drives Part 5 to be what it is. He's the core of it. You can't take him out and have the same story. That doesn't mean he's perfect, right? There are aspects where I would have liked to see him reach more, like maybe an internal conflict. I would have liked to see between his Jonathan and his Dio side, right? That's a little underdeveloped and underexplored, but other than that, I think he's definitely my favorite.
That's the most interesting thing I think about his character is the whole like, because it's something I didn't really pick up when I read it. Because when I started reading it, I had to read the bad scans, and then it was funny because like halfway through, that's when they like I was able to eventually catch it. Like there was a point where they started publishing the good ones, and I like better corrected ones, and I read those, but I didn't really get the whole like Dio and Jonathan composite of Giorno. I really just saw him as a reflection of Dio, like a nicer Dio. So seeing all these like think pieces and like videos talking about that, I thought that was really interesting, but something that I didn't get really reading through it.
Right, because I think a lot of the aspects of it are very subtle in comparison to a character who is very expressionary, as like Mista. His emotions are on his shoulder the entire time. Like, you know how he's feeling. But that doesn't mean they're not there. I just wish there was a little bit more of that.
I actually do want to talk about, I think you make a really good point with the whole thing about like static characters versus like characters that have development. And I honestly think it's kind of a big meme that a character needs to have development to be good. I think it's a thing that like we're taught in English class as kids, and then we just
Yeah.
think that it's supposed to be that way because I heard this a long time ago, and I've always kind of looked at anime and Japanese media this way. But a lot of Japanese media doesn't really have characters that quote unquote develop. Like
Right.
they are just kind of like fully formed as a character, and then like the story, it's about like how they interact with the story, or like it's kind of like the idea of a character study, I guess. Like you're
Mhm.
just learning more about the character as you're going through the story more. And I think like that is like a totally valid way to write a character. Honestly, a little more interesting
mean,
than just like forcing
Thinking
a
about like
development.
a lot of just like just like the bland anime shows, or like even thinking of just like I know it's like a webtoon, but like I think Tower of God, and just like that's how it was for the most part. We're watching through that, where like
Yeah, the
we're
main
just
kid
Yeah.
is pretty like nothing in that.
Bam.
What's his name? Bam. Yeah.
yeah.
So like, are you guys into One Piece at all?
I've read
have-
up
yeah,
to
Sam's more.
up to Dressrosa like halfway through, and I kind of stuck. It was going on for a while, and I kind of just like I was kind of hitting that fatigue that I kind
Yeah,
of really
that
needed to
Dressrosa
stop.
fatigue. I
Yeah.
felt
and
that.
I love Law, and I love like Robin's design. That one's like my fucking favorite. But like I had to take a break from it because it was just so much.
So the reason I bring it up is you mentioned like Japanese writing tends to like set characters as they are. I think Oda does that insanely well, right? You have this long story where, Robin, Luffy, like they get these arcs of development, but fundamentally at their core, they're still the same characters,
Yes.
right? And
Okay.
that's okay because like I see a lot of people get upset that One Piece has 900 episodes, 1,000
I'm just
chapters,
like I'm
and there's
like
no
don't
character development.
don't watch the anime of like 1,000 episodes. like what is wrong with you? Nothing happens in like
Yeah.
half of an episode.
Yeah. But I think those, like, when you have characters that fulfill the role in their story, like Luffy is a very basic character, but that doesn't mean he's a bad character. He
No.
fulfills every role he needs to fulfill to make that story enjoyable.
I'm pretty sure someone pointed out he never has a thought bubble. He always says what he wants
Absolutely.
to out loud. And I
And
find
I
that
love that.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and like, even like little character things triggering like Zoro's directions. Like, that's
Right,
always
little character
things.
quirks that develop over time that you pick up on.
And like,
like-
everybody always, and like when you ask like what your favorite like One Piece character, I would say Usopp because he is literally the best character in there. Like the most development, best moments. Like he has the like best arcs in like every part. And he's so interesting.
I'm
Yeah.
only about like 70 chapters in on One Piece, and Usopp is like definitely the best one. Like his story, his whole introduction story is just really good, and even though even already I can tell he's not supposed to be like one of the strongest guys, he's still pretty cool, and I like seeing him.
I'm happy to at least get his moment in Dressrosa. Like that was fucking amazing. But like,
I would say even go back to Water 7. That's when Usopp,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the development on Usopp, like, see, here's what Oda does. He takes a character, he'll develop them in one arc, and then they'll hold that development through the entire series, right? So Water 7 is just Water 7 Enies Lobby, that whole
Yes.
part is just so fundamental to Luffy, Usopp, and Robin.
it is
And I think
one of my
like,
favorites.
it's where One Piece peaks, and well, up until Wano, we'll see how Wano goes. Wano's been amazing so far.
I need to
But-
finish Dressrosa
Yeah.
and get the whole cake and all
Yeah,
that.
but I don't think it goes too far down after that point. I think that sets the standard for what it is and why it's so enjoyable.
Yeah, I just have to get past that Dressrosa arc, and I'll be happy.
I know. It's too long. That's the thing. Dressrosa is like the Skypiea of the New World. It just
But I love
goes on
Skypiea.
forever. Yeah.
It's hard. One Piece is hard sometimes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
And,
we have actually kind of talked about doing because we do like a Hunter x Hunter podcast where we're going through each arc of Hunter x Hunter,
Yeah.
and doing a whole episode on that, and we're thinking about doing one for, well, we're going to have actually a community vote for it, but One Piece is one of the options, because I really want to just have a reason to read One Piece. I've had a bit of an issue getting into it before, so I just want to have like no excuse, like, all right, just have to fucking get into it, and I'll start enjoying it, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. It's so good.
it's
Like
kind of
you'll
funny.
love it. It's the time investment though, is that it's
Yeah.
kind of like why people are off put of Berserk and One Piece and all the really good stuff that like I just don't have time to get into it. And I feel that. I feel that too. I'm like always busy. It's like I get it.
Yeah, the only reason I ever see One Piece, like I said last time, was because I worked in an area that I had that free time to do at work.
Exactly. You had like time to just put it up, on your computer screen or whatever and read it. Or watch it. I just left it in the background watching some of it. Yeah.
But One Piece has like the equivalent of a Duang dub with like the 4Kids dub, which is like.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I remember that growing up. It was so bad.
It had a great opening, but I follow a Twitter account, just like no context 4Kids One Piece that I just like just listen to just to hear like Sanji's weird voice and his lollipop and.
It's real good. It's real good.
They give Robin like a weird accent and
yeah. And
they did something so she has to be a cowboy.
140 episodes of that. I was like, what the heck?
And the line of Chopper's doctrine.
Yeah.
Chopper's doctrine. That's the one thing I know about One Piece very well.
The only thing you know about Chopper that he's doctrine.
Yeah, I've listened to the intro a million times. I know that Nami's an LADY.
Also, Ace is like really. Someone put over the no content. He posts like a C with Ace, and it's like the weirdest like voice out of him. Like, I have never like
and
expected.
Didn't they get rid of his tattoos or something too?
I think so. They had to edit a lot of things. Like they had in like the first arc, they had like a gun to what's his name, Kobe's head, and it's like it's like a pop gun, like a cork pop gun.
Yeah, or something crazy. Yeah.
And I don't know what I was saying. And like Nami's origin gets incredibly nerfed of like it's like prison instead of like her.
Oh, I remember. Okay, so like for life. There's that one part where like Nami stabs Usopp, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they redid it so that Usopp had like ketchup in his hand, and he said, "Okay, I'm gonna squirt the ketchup and pretend to die."
Also, like Smoker doesn't have cigars in his mouth, so he just like has smoke coming. Even though I do like the smoke coming out of his mouth, like defaultly, but like
it's so silly. It's just so silly that he doesn't actually have cigar. Mm-hmm. What does he have? Like cigars, right?
They also nerf Robin's cleavage as well, which is like the biggest sin.
Yeah, would agree. Robin, best girl, absolutely.
Oh yeah, she's hands down. Like I hate Nami's redesign, like a lot compared to her old one, but I own like way too much Robin merchandise.
Yeah, Robin's great. Robin's fantastic.
Yes.
Sam, is that the one, the color changing one you have?
The one I bought drunk.
Yeah,
it's one of them. I have
only the best purchases.
I have a Dressrosa Robin, like I think I have Punk Hazard Robin, like a small one, and I have this swimsuit one that if you get it wet, it changes see-through. It doesn't change color; it comes see-through.
Nice.
It was $35. I was drunk at a con, and I bought it.
I remember being there and being like, "Sam, you need to get this."
Do you guys miss cons? Because I miss cons so much.
Kinda.
Yeah, I used to go to Katsu cons. Like, what was my favorite thing? Where MagFest is, and it's like a month after MagFest. It's a huge convention there.
Yeah.
And it's my fucking favorite thing, and I'm gonna miss it if it gets canceled.
Yeah, right. We were actually gonna do
canceled.
We were gonna do a panel at AUSA, and unfortunately, that's not gonna happen now, which is kind of a bummer. But that's one thing I really want to do. I want to go to a convention and do a panel because I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
See, I would love to do a panel too, but anonymity. I don't know how that would work. Maybe
you just got to get an actress to dress up like your avatar.
A Sekko cosplay, completely cover
work.
Everything but my eyes.
You been to conventions before though?
Oh yeah. I love going to them.
You cosplay there before?
Yeah. My new video, I ranked the JoJo, the main JoJo outfits based on how much fun they would be to cosplay as. Even though I've done a couple of them already. But yeah.
I still want to do Johnny, but like I cosplayed Law like pre and post time skip design, and I cosplayed Nero at the last CatsuCon of Devil May Cry 5. That was a lot of.
Ooh, yeah.
Came out really good.
Apparently, he's very popular. One of our other friends said that Sam was getting a lot of attention for his Nero cosplay.
Came out good.
Yeah. That's another thing too. Yeah.
I just did like.
Did you ever?
Yeah, I did it once. I did the actually the last time I went to Katsu. I think that was 2
years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. I was a Spider-Man from Peter B. Parker from the animated Spider-Man, the one where he's got like he's like the fat dad Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So I was that one, and that was a lot of fun.
It's
awesome.
Great.
Yeah. The best part of that though is I love just being amongst people and not having to worry about like people trying to find out who you are, right?
Yeah.
I just like blending in, like Kira blending in with the crowd. Yeah, except I haven't done a Kira cosplay yet, and I don't think I will.
I still haven't done a JoJo cosplay at all. I think Johnny's probably be the one I would do, and Jim has to do Pangea Land from Part 8 if he ever does it.
That's not even his name. I honestly forget that character's real name.
It's not important.
It's not important. He died. He died in like 3 seconds. It was hilarious. I would like to do a Gyro cosplay, but
Gyro is so interesting. Yeah.
Now I've got like a big beard, and I don't want to have to shave the beard to do the weird little
the squares. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite con activities is just going to the JoJo shoot and just watching it because so many people just do like amazing jobs with
They're
it. Like
so fun.
the Diego cosplayers are always like amazing with like the details they put on there. Like they'll put like the mouth on there, or they have the tail.
And just seeing like all because we were there while Part 5 was still coming out, and like the anime, of course. And I think there's kind of a trend for like, since that's when all of the JoJo characters start to get like really thin and small, there's so many like female cosplayers that can like perfectly nail like all of the protagonist characters.
Every Bruno.
So, right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's great.
But like every
awesome.
Speedwagon is like a big dude, and they always rock it like so well because of how big Speedwagon is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's so good.
Great. And you know what? I found like I found it interesting because I've been going to cons before Part 5 was airing, all through it, and seeing the growth and appreciation for Part 5. I know one of the first cons I went to, I was like, I was asking people, what's your favorite part? What's your least favorite part? Stuff like that. And they're like, God, I hate Part 5. I can't get through the scan. They had to skip to
Now
Part
everybody
6.
loves it.
Yeah, and now there's so many Giorno and Mista and Bruno cosplayers. It's amazing.
We always
there
get
were
excited.
so many Giornos.
When we saw Part 8 cosplays, it's always the most exciting thing, though, because like people actually.
Part 8's the best. Like those cosplayers are always the most fun too.
Like they did everyone, like.
We saw Kira, Part 8 Kira, that was super cool. He had like a little cardboard cutout of Killer Queen that he had taped to his back. It was awesome.
One of the Jobin cosplayers I saw at one of my first cons, because I hadn't read to Part 8 yet. I was still working my way through 7, I think, or around that time, right? And I walked up to someone who was as Jobin, and I'm like, I've seen your character before, but like, what does he do? And he's like, well,
Beatles.
Think about Beatles and Rohan, and that's about what you'll get.
Like pretty much. I want to see like if it happened like Katsu happened, like, see like all the Mitsubas or the Torus. I want to see it, but I'm not sure if Katsu's probably not gonna happen now. So like, I'm really sad I'm not gonna see all like the updated Part 8 cosplays.
Yeah, Mitsuba would be so cool. I want to see people cosplay
my
Mitsuba.
favorite girl in Part 8.
I love her stance so much.
I love it too. That's one of my
just
favorite.
Vector math. It's insane.
It's Vector math that can do whatever she needs it to do.
Exactly.
Tape her fingers back on.
Yeah.
Extract weird stones from her body. It's great.
Yeah.
But so you say you still like Pokemon though? Because I know you said you're named after Shuckle and everything. You used to make videos.
Oh yeah, Pokemon. I just bought the DLC for Sword and Shield.
I still haven't bought the DLC, but do you have a specific game that's your favorite and like a Pokemon that's your favorite?
Oh, Heart Gold and Shuckle.
Okay, Soul Silver is my all-time favorite. I think I had like 600 to 900 hours in it.
Then you probably understand why that's the best game, and that's
so much replayability.
Exactly. Not only that, though, I think Generation 4 is the best generation, bar none. I think they
Diamond and Pearl.
There. Yeah,
right?
Diamond, Pearl, Platinum.
I did not like Diamond and Pearl that much.
Oh no. Okay, so like I feel like Platinum adjusted like a lot of the things Diamond and Pearl had wrong, like the long save times, the slow surf speed.
I think I hate the rival in that one. He's the annoying blonde kid, and I remember hating the rival.
Yeah. I mean, I just think like Generation 4 though, that set of games is where Pokemon was just at its best.
4 is like the one generation that I haven't played any of. Like I've played almost like all the other ones.
Yeah.
Because when did the jump to 3D? Was that part? Or that was Gen 6? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sun and Moon.
Sun and Moon.
No. X and Y.
Or no, X and Y.
X and Y.
Yeah.
I forget about X and Y. I love it too. I like.
A lot of people do.
But yeah,
Right.
Gen
I
2
think
is like
the
great.
Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire made that generation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's like one of my
played
favorite ones, honestly. Not the remake necessarily, but like
I played
Ruby and
Sapphire so
Sapphire.
much.
Yeah, that's like my favorite, I think.
Yeah.
Pokemon game.
But like Gen 2 is always my favorite. Like Espeon is like my favorite Pokemon of all time. Then maybe Rowlet's second.
Right. So, Rowlet is my second favorite Pokemon.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I love. I have a poster
We're
from
on
a
the
con
same
of like.
wavelength.
Yeah, I have a poster of like a bunch of Rowlets, like various poses. Like
I have like
up on my
6
computer.
Rowlet figures, 2 Rowlet plushies, a Rowlet.
Spherical.
It's so spherical. I love it. The spherical Rowlet.
And like the anime, like the Sun and Moon anime is great. Like people like
it's
like a
so
slice
fucking
of life.
good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like a slice of life. And
Rowlet in
Rowlet
that
is
is just so funny.
he's a good little boy. And he had the episode with like Melton, and like it's like amazing.
That anime brought me so much joy. Like, I hadn't watched the Pokemon anime in like years and years since I was like a kid, actually. And
Right,
I watched like,
right.
the original like Indigo League or whatever it's called, and then just like watching that show and like even this like watching the dub is fine because you want to pay attention to all the animation because all the animation and expressions are just so well done.
It's so good. And like I was a little worried when they were like changing style, but I think they did that and they did it so well to where it just made it so much easier to enjoy than a lot of the other Pokemon anime where it's just the same thing over and over and over again.
There's an episode with like a ping pong battle, and it's like amazing.
Also, all the girls in Sun and Moon are like the most adorable. Like, I love every single one of them.
Yeah.
They're adorable. Where Sword and Shield is like everybody thirsty over 'em. Like, I don't blame them, but
I have to say though, I kind of bounced off Sword and Shield. I really couldn't get into it.
I
See,
haven't got
like-
the expansions, so but
I stopped playing. This is so bad because like I was one of those people who competed in every single online tournament and went to local tournaments for Pokemon. One of those IV breeders and
Oh my
EV
God.
breeders and you
Yeah.
know EV trainers and whatever.
my buddy's into
And-
that, and I hear it nonstop about that.
Oh yeah, I fell out of that so hard when Sword and Shield hit. Like it just killed all the momentum because I was making these competitive teams all the way through Sun and Moon.
Because
From
like Gigantamax
Gen 4 to
like
Sun and
ruined
Moon.
everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, it made it so much easier, but like, I just
It's
have
more than
no
Mega
motivation. It's
Yeah.
yeah. It's like, I think just Sword and Shield was so incomplete. I'm hoping that the DLC remedies some of that, but I think
And
it was
like-
so incomplete that I just didn't want to be invested in it.
Mhm.
And,
Honestly,
like,
yeah, like
I like
I don't. It's
lot of
hard for me to
Pokemon
get
in it.
into it because like I was playing like the first 5 hours or so, and I was like, all right, kind of waiting for it to get good, and then that one moment where it opens up into like the open area. I just like hated it. Like I just felt like I didn't belong there. Like it didn't feel fun to explore. It felt like a chore to walk through. It was a big bummer.
Yeah.
Also, that game
Yeah.
you just crush your rivals' hopes and dreams like at every point of the road. And I
Oh yeah.
Who's the rival even?
I
He's,
hate I hate the
brother.
planned critical hits and stuff. Like, come on, let me get that. See, what's satisfying about what used to be satisfying about Pokemon is when you get out of a clutch, right?
Are you
with,
gonna say
like,
that the
lucky
Shuckle
critical
move?
hit.
The Shuckle
Yeah.
move where he does like 9,999
Switch your attack and
damage.
defense with power trick. Oh. I have pulled that off so well before.
Fuckle
like-
with the Shuckle.
Yeah, I mean, basically every competitive team I made had Shuckle at the core.
Oh.
You want to talk about like Giorno is the core of Golden when Shuckle was the core of my Pokemon team.
The Dark Magician of the Blue-Eyed White Dragon of your team.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
so funny.
But yeah,
Uh,
nothing ever come close to the Soul Silver, Heart Gold games. I had
No.
the little. I had the little walk.
Pokemon walking
Walker?
following
Yeah,
you. Yeah,
that because I remember thinking it came out like senior year for us, and like I had that on my backpack all day. And then
Yeah.
You get beat up every
even
day.
now, I got like really into Pokemon Go. I haven't played a lot of it recently, but like it's still like a lot of fun.
Well, I think the
for me.
Pokemon walking was in the new DLC for Sword and Shield.
I think so. Remember,
So-
maybe or you connect your like the Pokemon Go like. You could connect it to no, that was the Let's Go Pikachu or whatever. where
Yeah,
you
that was the Let's Go
connect it,
Pikachu.
which I didn't
but
play.
I think that's in the DLC, just in the DLC areas though. So
Oh boy, all the old Pokemon come back. Hate that.
yeah. But I don't know, like Heart Gold, Soul Silver, like Gold and Silver were the first games that I played. I think next to, because I think I got all of them. I got like Fire Red, Ruby, and Silver all at the same time, and it was basically just up to me to pick which one I wanted to play, right?
Yeah. Well,
So
I had my sister, and like I would get like Fire Red, and she would get or not Fire Red. She get red, I get blue, and then we both got a copy of yellow, and then she got gold, I got silver, she got crystal.
Yeah.
It was like that until like I don't think she never had a Game Boy Advance. I think I was the only one that got like Sapphire, and then I love that.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
There's so many damn Pokemon games, and we can never even trade it. Because we had to get the link cable. Yeah, because we need a link cable. I don't think that's the one thing we didn't have.
Those are relics now. Kids today don't know what a link cable is. I feel old. I feel too old.
Even like
I vividly remember trading with some of my friends with link cable back in the day.
Yeah.
Not on the playground though, because you
I
couldn't
think we
bring
may have had it at least for
school.
Pokemon Stadium. Like we played like to get the surfing Pikachu, I think it was, and then we didn't really use it until we got the Game Boy Advance one. That's what it was. We didn't get the Game Boy Advance one because we used that to go to the islands in Animal Crossing GameCube. And that's why we didn't get it until that. Then you could use it on your Game Boy Advance on the N64 to play it because backwards compatibility.
Right.
Oh man,
that is so weird. The sentence you said is just so strange.
You needed so much hardware to get the other side content they tried. Like the only thing I didn't have was the Animal Crossing like e-reader. We didn't have that, but
e-reader.
It was like a car. You swiped cards onto a thing to get stuff in Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah, they're called amiibo cards, Sam.
It was essentially that. But
That's
like
really interesting.
But even more obscure.
Yeah.
I didn't say it, so I'm going to say it now. My favorite Pokemon, Skitty. She's the best. Or he.
Aw, Skitty's so cute. Skitty Wailord combo.
Largest the Wailord double battles that like break the game because it freezes up your game the frame rate.
Yeah.
That's another thing too. I know this is like the most tired discussion on the internet, but like it was just such a letdown seeing the quality of the new Pokemon game. Like really, it's just so depressing to see that a company such as Pokemon, which you'd expect to be like putting out all the stops, is just like relegating a tiny team to work on this huge game.
Yeah, I understand why they're doing that. Like everything's being dedicated to the mobile scene because that's where they're making tons of money now, which that's just how it is. I mean, I don't know. It's the end of an age, so to speak. A lot of people. I get that the Switch is more accessible than a lot of other consoles, right? You can bring it anywhere. Like I have pockets deep enough to put my Switch in. I'll just carry it like around, wherever I go. But
whoa, Shuck bragging about his deep pockets.
Jeez.
yeah. But I guess like mobile is just so much more accessible, and they make so much money on Pokemon Go. And that's what I never understood is like people who dump money into mobile games like that.
Yeah.
Like just wait. Like a lot of this stuff is either timed or you walk around for it. Right?
Yeah.
I don't feel the
Pokemon Go,
satisfaction.
I don't think I spent like $1 on it. It just got everything just playing progressively. So like I'm not those people who I guess like played through the entire day to go dunk out every gym leader and all that stuff.
I put a little bit of money. I think I spent like $5 on Pokemon Go because I wanted.
Right, but that's understandable versus like if there's an event or whatever, right?
Yeah, I wanted to see what it was like, or just like because I'd never spent like any money on a mobile game, so like, you know what, I could have a couple more incubators. That'd be cool.
I technically did, but that was only because I got like a iTunes gift card, and I just used that to buy like.
Yeah.
I played a card game.
Different. I'm talking about the people who are like dumping hundreds of dollars.
Yeah,
the Wailords.
The people who play like Fate Grand Order and just want to get like their other version of Saber in like a swimsuit.
Well, that's the thing though. Like, I don't get it. Like, I know, I mean, maybe just good.
People are doing it with
I'm
Genshin
lucky
Impact.
that I don't have to worry about getting sucked into this, but I don't understand. Like I don't feel good when I spend the money and like get a thing like that. Like, it doesn't do anything for me. So, I mean, I guess it just sucks for people that get really like hooked on that like endorphin feedback loop.
I mean, people are doing it with Genshin Impact right now, where they're just going like they're falling to the gacha.
Oh, the rates for Genshin Impact pools are ridiculous. I'm
waiting for the one that's all a game of all VTubers, and you have to pool like your VTubers.
Yeah.
Like
I think on Castle Super Beast, they went through like the chances of getting like one of like the 5-star characters in Genshin or whatever. I don't know the rankings exactly how it works, but it is like a 0.5% of a chance in a pool that you'll get once. Like,
What's
and
it
then each pool's like $5. It's
one of
ridiculous.
Nintendo's biggest money makers is the Fire Emblem game. People spend so much. I played it, but I never spent money on it because I basically unlocked like stuff like easily, like without buying anything. But still, people go crazy right now over it.
Yeah,
and I kind of wish I could get into these games because I love the idea of like, oh, I want to collect all these JPEGs of my favorite Fate girls, even though I've never seen an episode of Fate before.
Oh, do you think I know Saber?
I know Saber, yeah.
I'm so scared to get into Fate. I tried one day and I was like, "Shit, I'm watching the wrong series," and so I just stopped.
I stopped
like 2 or 3 episodes in. Yeah,
we watched one episode of like the Netflix one, and it was like really well animated, but like there
was this meme going around. It wasn't really a meme, I guess it was just true. There was one episode of Fate Apocrypha. It was like episode 14, where they had gotten like the most animators like that season to work on like one episode, so like every frame of animation in that episode was like insanely well drawn, and it was so inconsistent because it was like all these different animators. But it's honestly worth checking out, just like if you want to sit down and watch like a ton of crazily drawn anime action scenes. Watch episode 14 of season 2 of Fate Apocrypha.
I think that's 14.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, then you'll fall in love with whoever Saber is in that season. Could be a Saber that turned into a man, had a kid, and turned back into a woman, and then became Santa Claus.
No, that's a different one. Santa Claus Saber is different, Sam.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How dare you?
I had to pull up the giant graph of various Sabers.
But yeah, let's talk about let's transition to something that we all want to talk about. Konosuba.
Yes.
I love it. So wait,
yeah,
first of all, best girl. Go.
All right, I'll go first. My best girl obviously is Megumin. I fucking love Megumin.
It's obviously Aqua.
It's Aqua. Yeah.
There we go.
Dirty.
Sam's, like I said, Sam and I this whole time have been on the same wavelength. Aqua, Rowlet, best Pokemon game, Robin. Like, we get it. No, but that doesn't mean Megumin's bad. I just got a Megumin figure.
Hell yeah.
It is like the whole Konosuba line of figures is probably my favorite.
I have really 2 Aqua figures.
Actually, all right, sorry to go on this tangent. I just like, you know when you have a dream and you don't remember it until like something really happens like weird in your life. So last night I had a dream that Sam was over my house and he knocked over my Megumin figure and it shattered into like a million pieces and I was so mad.
No. I said it's pathetic.
And then I actually looked at it right now because in my memory I was like, oh yeah, my Megumin figure broke. And then I looked over like, oh no, it didn't. It was a dream.
Oh no.
No, you broke the Midas figure.
Yeah, I did break my
your 2V figure.
Yeah.
Well, that was because I just need glue. Whatever. But yeah, Megumin, I love Megumin, but I like all the girls.
They're all terrible in their own way.
They're all terrible.
That's the thing. It's like Konosuba is just such a great experience, right? I've been reading it, and it's still amazing. I'm not reading
That's the thing. Like, so I've only seen the anime, and I don't like the idea of reading a light novel. Like, I've never done it before, and I don't want to start now. And I'm afraid because, like, the things I love about Konosuba are, like, I think the voice acting is so good. Like, the comedic timing is, like, perfect. The animation expressions, like, everything I love about it is done so well in the anime. I wonder how it translates to the book.
It's different. It's definitely different for sure. But you can see at least where the animators and the director take some of the stuff to make it pop a little more. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have that pop that animations can bring, especially because the animators for Konosuba know how to budget their animation so well, where like some scenes will be completely bare bones, like very basic designs and everything, and then the next scene will be like
Kazuma's hand. It's like
the best thing you've ever seen animated, right?
Yeah, classic Studio Dean.
Kazuma's hand is like wiggling the entire time. It's still going to be best animated hands.
Exactly.
But like trying to convince like my friends to like watch like Konosuba, like trying to pitch it like, oh, it's an isekai. And
everyone shuts off. They're like, oh no, I don't want to watch this.
Oh no, can't watch the boring isekai. No, but that's the problem.
I put my hands up like Chris Pratt trying to stop the Raptors. I'm like, hold up, wait, hold up.
Yeah.
But he's with a goddess, and she's a drunk. Hear me out. She's terrible. He's the quote unquote healer.
Exploding lolly.
Exploding lolly, masochist knight who can't hit shit.
Yeah.
Like,
And the main character is like the most relatable character in all of anime.
and he's
ever.
terrible.
He's great.
I tried to sell my one buddy on just the succubus episode. The succubus brothel.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that so much. It really is just like, it just is another thing that brings me so much joy. Like, I've been kind of thinking about just putting it on again and just watching it all again, even though I don't like to rewatch stuff. I feel like, I don't know, I try not to rewatch things because I feel like I waste time, but it just like makes me happy.
It does.
It's so
it does.
fun.
Have you seen the dub? I would recommend like just
I've
putting the
seen
dub
the
on.
clips. I've seen
no,
the
I
million
shouldn't.
videos of clips from it.
Yeah.
I should just watch the dub, actually. That's a
I
good
love
idea.
Aqua's voice actor in the English dub. I think she does a great. I think she's like the best one.
Faye
Faye
is
is a
so
great job.
good. Yeah, I think that's one of those examples of a fantastic dub. Right? I think
Yeah.
that Cowboy Bebop, even some of JoJo's to an extent, like there's some good dubs.
I mean,
but-
yeah. I mean, Dragon Ball Z is always one of the most iconic dubs for me, and like,
yeah.
just saying, Yu Yu Hakusho, I think Akubar's voice always just rings in my head. Like,
It's so hard because, like, I watched Cowboy Bebop as, like, a little kid, and, like, same with
Mhm.
Dragon Ball, like, watched it as a little kid, so, like, I only knew the English voice cast for so long, whereas, like, most of the time now, it's like, I know the Japanese first, but the Cowboy Bebop dub just feels so fucking good, like,
It's
you
so
can't picture
smooth.
like the voice.
Absolutely.
yeah, I can't imagine Spike or Jet or Faye with any other voices,
Any other
honestly.
one.
Yeah. And then, like when I watch G Gundam, I watch the dub, and I love it's so cheesy, and I just love it. But like when I watch like, the Japanese one, it didn't feel like as hammy or like as like the energy doesn't feel like as there, and I like can't go back and like watch it. I have to go watch it dub. I can't watch it subbed, and like it's weird.
But yeah, I'll have to check out the Konosuba dub, because
It can't be like Ghost Stories.
Okay, it definitely
Ghost
can't be
Stories.
Ghost Stories.
Yeah. But no, that's what, if I'm ever feeling down, I put it on in the background and I immediately feel so much better.
Yeah, we
Like-
saw the movie in theaters.
Same.
Oh, so
It
much
was one
fucking
of the
fun.
best like movie experience because everybody just
bar
loved
none.
it.
I think it is the best. I mean, I had a little something extra going when I was doing that. I was making a video out of it.
We had to do
Uh,
with a Megamine body pillow. Like when the lights came
That
out,
was
everybody
so
saw him and
funny.
cheered him. We
That
see
was
it
so
in our
funny.
theater. I think like
Yeah, there was a guy, in our theater. So yeah, at the end of the show in our theater, when the credits started rolling, a guy stood up and pulled up his Megamine body pillow, and everyone cheered at him.
Yeah.
It was
No,
wonderful.
that was me when I walked in with Aqua. And then I met the random guy who had a Megamine and called the theater in early to like ask if it was okay. So I just walk in there with Aqua, not knowing like if it's okay or not.
I should have brought in the pocket Figma. Like,
Yeah.
Hello, can I bring in my Aqua body pillow for the the Konosuba screening?
I brought in my bottle of booze for just to get in character. It's like a Rocky Horror Show. Where every time Aqua's there, you take a swig of like booze.
When we
Sake.
walked in, like people clapped and applauded. Like it was
It was a packed theater when we saw it too.
oh
'Cause
absolutely.
We live like near Philadelphia, so like we live in a pretty populous suburban area.
Yeah.
So movies are tend to be full, and that was even for like anime movies. Like there's like half.
Well, none of the
screening
Ghibli movies
sometimes.
came close to that.
No,
no,
that was like
no, none
full,
of them did.
and it was so fun. And like I'll just never forget like the first big joke in the movie when it's like Yun Yun
Popular
runs
face?
in. Yun Yun runs in
Yeah.
and she's like, Cosmo, have my baby. And then Cosmo just looks and his eye shines and it's like my popular face is beginning. Like the theater erupted. It was like
My stupid idiots are
magical.
back.
Right. Right. And
Oh
I
my
think
God.
people like I don't know, would you say Konosuba's mainstream?
Oh, it's such a hard question
like-
when it
I
comes
know.
to anime.
It
'Cause,
became
like,
such
it
a, like,
has a movie and like everyone recognizes it. But
It was,
I don't
it was
know.
kind of like that small thing that became super popular and like it was kind of it might be more of a cult following, like a popular cult following now,
Yeah.
more so
Right.
than like.
Because like the anime
Mainstream.
fandom itself is very like kind of cult following
And-
already. But compared to like if you think about like the big shonens, I feel like it's not nearly as recognizable or like to your common anime fan.
I feel it's
like
definitely
as a
more
big
popular.
isekai, it's not you know
like ReZero. Think about how many people know about ReZero compared to
Right.
Konosuba. Like,
But I think in the U.S. it blew up more than it did in Japan because everybody in the U.S. talked about it. Like Crunchyroll specifically, it picked it up and got it dubbed, and I feel like
It had a lot of word of mouth. I remember
the
when
U.S.
it first came
market.
out.
I feel like the U.S. market buys all the figures. I know I did.
I absolutely did.
I have.
No,
I
but
have
that's why I wanted to get into Konosuba, because I kind of see it as like where JoJo's was before it got super mainstream. You know, where it's kind of in that niche where it's not mainstream yet, but it's instantly recognizable. And I would say like JoJo's is at the point where it's obviously clearly mainstream, right?
Yeah.
But I think Konosuba's in that niche, and I don't know if it gets to season 3, then maybe
I'm sure it will.
maybe it could reach the mainstream.
I don't know how much more content there is in the light novel series, but I honestly I think I would prefer if it became like a movie series rather. Like, there's an anime that came out a few years ago called Princess Principal. It had like a 1 season, and now they're just only doing movies now. It's just like they're just like, okay, now we're just gonna do like 6 more movies.
Yeah,
I feel like that's what happened with Made in Abyss.
Yeah, I think you're right actually, and I honestly personally would prefer that because there's so much more that you can put into a movie, and like I mean I could just like gush about the Konosuba movie and how much I loved it, and like how the pacing was so fun, and like it was like the perfect amount of time to like meet up with my goofy idiot friends again.
Like I love seeing like Kazuma and Aqua's like this friendship, like where he just pulled up his pants is one of my favorite fucking moments in that movie.
They give
Also
each
just,
other a
like,
thumbs up, yeah.
This is also, I mean, obviously, like, Megumin's my favorite, but having, like, a spotlight movie on, like, one character is really cool. So, like, it'd be really cool if they had, like, the next one would be, like, a spotlight on, like, Aqua.
Aqua versus Eris and how she pets her breasts more.
I know they could potentially do something darkness related for that, but I think together the 2 seasons and the movie only cover 6 of the 18 volumes.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of content left. And I think way back when season 2 was getting animated, I think the author was like, yeah, we're trying to promote our light novel. And when it concluded, it says like game complete or whatever. Because I think he intended to just stop it there now that the promotion was over and do the light novels. But the light novels just finished. They're complete. So like,
I didn't know that.
This is a market. This is a potential. I'm excited. I'm excited to see where it goes.
I still want to really like so much more of them, but I wish it came out so much more frequently.
I know.
Right. There's
Like
Konosuba droughts, and it's sad. It's tough.
Everybody's
It's so
crying
tough.
over part 6, but I really I'd rather have Konosuba over part 6.
me too.
Same.
Aqua-
Oh, easily.
Aqua
easily.
can come in and punch Jolene out of the way.
Yeah.
Like,
That's,
I would
yeah, like,
throw my money.
We kind of talked about this with exports actually, where like at least for me, like my interest in anime is starting to wane. Like there was a time a few years back when I was still in college where I would make an effort to watch like a bunch of seasonal shows and like really try
Same.
and keep up with the discussion. And now I can be barely bothered to Sam and I just finished Tower of God, which came out like 2 seasons ago, I think.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, yeah, that was fine, that was nice. But
Ran out
for
of
me, like
wheelchair jokes.
Konosuba, yeah, Konosuba is like the one that like I want.
Right. Well, I
want
think
that back.
this year specifically, it's hard because there's nothing out right now.
I think the
Yeah.
last time I got really excited watching them was Interspecies. Like,
Interspecies Reviewers was insane. That
I
was
love
amazing.
that. I need to finish it actually. I never finished it, but I
It's
absolutely
so
should.
good.
I ended up loving Rent a Girlfriend because the main girl Chizuru has the same voice actress as Aqua. So, like me watching that character basically. They're nowhere near the same character, but hearing that voice was enough to get me invested in that show.
okay, so in a similar boat, when I watched Interspecies, like halfway through, I found out that the voice actress for the waitress, the bird waitress, was the Yellow Ranger from Gokaiger from the Sentai, and
Oh yeah.
and
yeah.
hearing her just like moan, like basically just having like an orgasm, like the weird, it's the most like the funniest, weirdest thing to me. And she's like my favorite girl in like Gokaiger because I obviously based like half of my like username like on Gokaiger.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like this amazing like coincidence.
Right.
I haven't finished Interspecies yet. I think I've seen most of it, but like I just love how unabashed the show is about just like, yeah, we just want to be like real sexual guys.
It's the most
like,
interesting world building in like anything where like, you get the world building from the brothels.
The egg episode, the whole egg episode has like very interesting implications about like the world building and like how eggs are viewed in this world and what kind of species eat eggs and
Yeah.
but it's also hella horny, which I love.
I know. It's great. It's great. I guess like the only other thing from this year specifically, I love Extra Olympia Kiklos. It's like this super small project that's like all stop motion animated, but it's about a guy
Ooh.
who goes from ancient Greece, goes forward in time to the 1964 Olympics to steal the Olympic ideas and bring them back to Greece.
Oh, that sounds great.
And the best part about it is that Daisuke Ono is at the helm for some reason.
Oh
He's
no.
the voice of Jotaro.
Oh.
And it's like his delivery. I don't know what it is, because he was in Backstreet Girls too, which was like super small.
Oh yeah. I had no idea he was in that. That's so funny.
Right, he's in all of these little projects, like these little passion projects, and I just find that so wholesome. And the fact that he's funny on top of it, you don't hear his serious, mean Jotaro voice, right?
Sam, do you remember Backstreet Girls?
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay.
Anime wasn't that great.
It was barely animated, but it is pretty fucking funny. I feel like the manga's probably
that
better.
whole show came down to the delivery of the characters' voices. And to some extent, this one does too, except like they're very creative, like especially being into stop motion myself, right? They're very creative on like how they do transitions and how shitty they want to make it look. Like sometimes they'll intentionally like leave their hand in the frame and then pull it out.
It's like a Pop Team Epic kind of thing.
Right, yeah.
Well, that sounds. I really need to check that out now. That sounds really.
I think
fun.
that maybe we watched
Extra
Backstreet Girls.
Olympia Key Close. Very
We
good.
watched Backstreet Girls. It was like that season where we were just watching one episode of just a bunch of shit. Like we hit random and see what we would get. And like,
Oh yeah.
you remember this one thing? It was like a live action of a bunch of boys in like a classroom, and then they would get transitioned to like even worse Ruby animation, and they had to solve like riddles, and the riddles made no sense in like English when they translated them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were all like these crazy Japanese riddles that like it was insane they even bothered like translating the show because the riddles didn't translate.
And like the fact that they turned from live action into like worse Ruby, like worse than season 1 Ruby like animation.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it was
It
just
was
like
really
this baffling thing.
Yeah, I think they talked like a giant sphinx head.
Yeah.
It was garbage. Yeah,
Just
like I think a year or so ago, I was just kind of like trying to watch a bunch of episode 1s, and there was one show that I heard about that I needed to check out. It was like, long story short, it's about a girl who's like a loser, but then she gets a magical invitation to join a hot idol group, and then she goes to the like meeting place, and they all like live in this like weird basement of this huge facility, and there's a wall. There's this giant wall that feeds them instructions, and it like they have to like worship the wall and like
What the
only
heck?
do what the wall tells them to do. It was so fucking weird.
Yeah.
I wish I remember the name of that show.
Sounds like one of your Japanese animes.
Mm.
But
Yeah. I love anime
Kind of-
and manga in Japan, period.
shut up. Not gonna say it. Not gonna say it.
Oh, how dare you.
Garugamesh, fine.
Yes.
That fucking commercial. But try to...
yeah.
Anything else? You wanna
well, I mean,
discuss?
I could also just talk about Konosuba forever. Like, the movie's good.
The movie's good. Okay, so like, here's something I want to talk about. Konosuba fights, I think, are very interesting because the characters are retroactively thinking on their feet. Like, they never spell out their plan beforehand. And if they do, you know it's not going to go down the way they say it's going to go down.
Yeah.
Aqua
think
punching the
that's-
frog.
Right. I think that's why I find it so fascinating. It's kind of like JoJo's in a sense, where stand battles are very retroactive in how they change and how they develop across an entire fight.
Mhm.
Of course, these are way funnier and way shorter, right?
Like, you got 3 useless people, then you got like only the friends are competent, but even then are kind of shitty in their own ways.
Yeah, but I think like fundamentally they share something similar, right? And I think that's why it stuck out and why I kind of want to make more Konosuba content, because there's no Konosuba like YouTubers,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I say it's probably not mainstream yet, right? because you would have like you have Naruto YouTubers, you have One
All the
Piece
shonens.
YouTubers. Yeah, all the shonens got one.
But like
Um,
even some like I guess like the isekai is not gonna be like ReZero like explaining
Right,
like
no,
why
they
Ren is
j-
best girl
they
or
just
like
cover like isekai channels generally just cover isekai in general.
the
Like they don't
secret
stick to one.
the
Yeah.
secret like the secret lore of Sword Art or something.
Yeah.
Why Kirito is better than Guts.
It is funny because like thinking about it, you could only really have this like the phenomenon of JoJo tubers with a series that is like 30 years old. That there's like
eight
so
different
much
So
parts.
content.
much to it. Yeah.
It's so dense. Like there really is just so much to JoJo.
Right. I feel like a lot of shonen like are getting like they have a ton to talk about too, but yeah, layers wise, like onions, JoJo has layers and lots of them. Like you just peel back more. I love that iceberg meme where it's like the tip of the iceberg is just JoJo's and the different descending layers going down and down and down.
hmm
Yeah.
Go down
And
with
it's
the
cool
ship.
too because like someone we had on before Oceans, like his videos are all like really like thematic discussions and thematic analysis, and then you can have someone else like I'm trying to think. Like Mastermind, like another guy we had on, who makes these like just funny meme videos of like, he recaps parts with like silly little characters and stuff, and like
Yeah.
it's just funny to see like the disparity in content and how just because it's JoJo, like there's so many people that are willing to jump into it. Like honestly, that's why I think our podcast has any traction at all. It's like there's just such a ravenous like the people have this huge appetite for JoJo.
They want to
just wanna
consume
hear people talk about it.
content, man.
Well,
Eat
that's
it
like
up.
a
know, like-
double-edged sword too, because I think you can only grow so much just on that alone. And
Oh,
like I
true.
said, that's why I wanted to. That's why I think around 150,000. I said, okay, I want to pick something else, and I want to dabble a little into it. Not every video is going to be about this, but like every couple of videos, and that's where I found Konosuba just filling that nice niche
Yeah.
of something that I'm also almost as passionate about
Yeah.
as JoJo's, just to talk about, just to make videos about memes. I'm trying to make so like
Don't you have one about darkness?
not yet. No. I was gonna make a video about.
I was
it.
gonna say I remember seeing something about the about darkness.
Yeah, but I'm working on a YouTube poop. I think like some of my memes dabble a little bit into that sort of community.
Uh-huh.
But I would say like my favorite channel on the whole platform is definitely Lemon.
Oh, yeah.
Probably because I've grown up with him and just seeing how he's developed as a content creator is definitely inspiring to me.
Mhm.
So I kind of wanted to like dabble in a little bit of that stuff, and I know Jack the Ripper, he does YouTube poops, some of them JoJo related. He's been giving me a little advice. It's definitely difficult to do sentence mixing when you have all Japanese, because I'm
Yeah.
trying to do the movie. But
I mean, now
Oh my
you have the
gosh.
dub though. If you wanted to, you could honestly just
Right.
do YouTube up like just both audios if you wanted to.
right. Yeah. But
That's really
it's interesting. Yeah.
Bringing up Lemon because yeah, like Lemon, he's like I liked YouTube poop back in the day. I was never like a big into like I know there's a lot of people. There's a few that I really enjoy, but I think that Lemon's old stuff, like, because looking back on it when I found him more recently, I think it's like not good. Like for YouTube poops, like I don't like his YouTube poops, but I think some of his like kind of big like I guess you'd think like they're kind of like thematic like concept videos, or like he kind of goes into like a rabbit hole sort of thing.
Yeah, the Never Ever videos or YouTube Geographics.
They're great. Yeah, the Never Ever videos are really good.
See, like when it comes to YouTube poops, all of the Hank Hill ones were definitely
Oh,
better
great.
than the stuff he was putting out. Not that I don't like the Pixar poops and stuff. I think they're really good, but I think those were just a little bit more enjoyable.
It can't be Fresh Prince of Blair,
Yeah.
Right. That's a great
where it's like an
one.
entire episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hank of the Hill ones are also incredible. Like, they're just infinitely quotable.
Right. But yeah, just seeing the development of someone that I guess yeah, it's like I said, there's only so far you can go on JoJo's, and that's why I'm trying to branch out and trying to change it from just JoJo guy to changing it to be about my personality.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that's like being involved with artists and being involved with building stuff around my character and my OC and my avatar and stuff. So
we didn't even
how did that come
up,
around?
Yeah, the OC thing I think is such a smart way to like brand yourself.
Right.
So when did when did you get your VTuber like model made? Like, I'm curious. Like, I don't know like anything about VTubing.
Yeah, that was someone on my Discord server was definitely nice enough to learn how to use Vroid, which is I guess what they use to build the models, right? And then you throw it into a program like Luppet or Mitane.
I use 310A, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if you've seen. I actually have a little VTuber persona too.
I haven't seen. No, I should. You should.
Oh shit! Let me.
Yeah, put a picture of it in.
Pugo-chan.
Yeah, Pugo-chan. So, I let me see if I can find a picture soon. But so basically, I'm just kind of playing around with the. Oh, sorry. What's Sam?
I was like, so the VTuber just like had a program where it kind of moves on its own, other than just the mouth moving when you talk. Like, it's not like linked up to like a webcam or anything to record your movements, is it?
So mine is linked to a webcam.
Okay.
There are preset motions that you can put into a character, like, oh, if you want them to like look this way or do a certain action, they're definitely available. But I guess that the VTuber thing was sort of more recent. I mean, I always had an idea way back since the days of Kizuna maybe potentially I would want to get into something like that.
I remember VTubers being a thing like forever ago, and then just recently, like, the last like month or two, it just like blew up.
Well, yeah, that's like in part from HoloLive, which is just huge about getting these.
That was the anime of like all the VTubers like hanging out.
And honestly, I don't think VTubers would be as big if there were if this whole virus and everything didn't happen, if people weren't trapped at home. Anime wasn't coming out in big like the summer season was down to something like 20 something shows. So I think people found a new niche. I don't think it's necessarily going to go away when things get back to normal, but I think it's definitely interesting. I like it's
kind
so
of like
fun.
You can't go back. Like there's been so many Corone is humongous. Like,
oh, insane. Gigantic.
All right, hold on, wait.
Like the Ikabukum girl.
Hold on. Let me see if I can drop a picture of my phone.
I'm trying to think. Ikabukum girl. I remember it was the one girl that like said "kill to hoe," and the one girl could speak English that she was with, and she was just like, "Wait, why'd you say hoe?" And they told her what the meaning of the word hoe was. She's like, "No, I'm sorry. I heard echoes say it."
That's so funny.
So this is so I just posted a picture of my VTuber that I made, Pogo-chan. They're supposed to be like a pug. She's very inspired by a pug. Because I was just playing around with the fucking... I was just playing around with like the character creator thing. And I was like, okay, let's see how gross I can make this look. And then like, I got it so the eyes point in different directions. And I was
watched Monster Factory.
Oh,
yeah,
amazing.
basically. But yeah, it's like, I have a pretty... I got a new laptop recently, but I'm able to like stream and also like use it on my laptop. It's really fun. And it like some of our like communities really loves it too. Like there was like fan art for it, and it was like the craziest feeling to get like
someone made a Twitter for her.
Yeah, someone made a Twitter for her, or like a fake Twitter.
Right, and that's honestly to me, especially being I want to maintain anonymity. Like this is a good way for me to interact with my audience when I start streams or even in videos. Like I can do different skits and stuff with this, and I don't know, it's definitely a great aspect, like a new tool that I can use to help like build this community around my personality. But like you were saying, getting fan art, dude, I can't tell you how that's probably my favorite thing about YouTube just in general. Is like all the fan art. I have a wonderful artist who works with me at Toka Chris on YouTube. She's like the best. Like I can't say enough good things. And not only her, but like all of these artists just working to like make something out of your characters, out of your personality, right? I've never shown my face and I don't really intend on doing it or anything. Seeing that much creativity come out of a community. It just baffles me. It really does.
And it just feels so flattering too. Like I've recently got kind of into doing art online and drawing. I don't really post too much, but because it's mostly just kind of for me. But like I've created a few characters and like I've posted them a few times. And having like some of my art friends like online or like some of people in our Discord draw my characters is just like it's just such a great feeling. It's such like a humbling and flattering and
Oh, it is.
I just love it so much. So this is gonna be where I plug a draw my Puggo-chan character. Draw me and Shuck. Draw Puggo and Shuck.
Yes,
hanging out.
I mean-
Puggo and Shuck.
We had our first with Promello drew our first BROKAKAKA, like just seeing like my like Kappa, like me as a Kappa, and it was like so crazy to me. Like someone like drew that, I was just like, oh my god,
Yeah,
this is weird.
Yeah, that was so fun because she was so enthusiastic about like collabing with us because we hadn't collabed with anyone yet because we were still little babies. And so yes, then we were like, yeah, let's do like a little podcast together. And then she just posted that in the chat. She's like, yeah, look at this. It was like, yeah, I'm with Sam. Like, it felt crazy to see that.
I know.
And, like,
I know.
I'm very like lurker person. Like I don't like to post too much. So to see like little things like that like pop up, it just like means a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's great. I gotta say the artists are definitely like some of my favorite things. And I think Oh,
like,
go
even
on.
seeing memes is like crazy. Just like
Yeah.
of like just like awesome. It's like people like actually like joking about like me or Jim is actually like so like ridiculously like crazy like.
Because memes are something that at least I don't really go too into. Like I know your whole persona Shuck is like super meme based.
Yeah, a lot of it is. Yeah, for sure.
But so and like not just meme based, but like memeable, very memeable.
Very memeable. Yes, I think that's a more accurate way of describing it.
Yeah. But so seeing like some of our people in our Discord have dropped memes with us, and it is just like hilarious. Like I just laugh every time I see it because it's just like
I don't exist, even though it kind of hurts a little bit. But
no, Sam. The memes are always very favorable of Sam. Honestly,
I don't exist.
Though. Oh yes, there is. We do have a meme that Sam doesn't exist.
Yeah. It hurts. It hurts being a lurker.
I guess like leaving impact, like making memes, like the whole Giorno piano meme stemmed from like my piano cover where I just put on a Giorno cosplay and just played the piano.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that just I don't know, it's insane. It's insane because how many of those memes exist? Like you can't even count them. There's so many. And even like little other things, being able to do that through my videos is definitely something I've always strived towards. I guess more recently, since there's not too much to meme per se from JoJo's, I've just been except for part 8. There's plenty of meme from part 8. But I guess I'm just trying to move that to more of an analytical sort of vibe on my channel. I mean, I still post memes, I still do fun stuff here and there. But like the newest video I'm working on is sort of dedicated to like just Joshu, right? Especially after the most recent chapter, right?
Yeah.
Oh god.
It's just an analysis of Joshu, and like I want to take a more serious turn, which is definitely different for my channel. And kind of look at his character and such. So yeah, I definitely, though I want to keep the memeability aspect because like I said, I want to transition my channel to being about me as a person and not just the content.
Yeah.
That I'm covering.
Oh yeah, that actually, I really wanted to talk about this earlier, and that's a really good segue. So like, yeah, there's this whole thing when you have like a highly specialized YouTube persona where it's like, all right, like it's kind of like the sword of Damocles is over your head. Like, say that worst case scenario, there's no part 9 manga, there's never another JoJo anime. Like, you have all these JoJo YouTubers who like, have you ever heard of the concept of a whale fall? Like, when a whale dies in the ocean and its corpse falls to the bottom, that like little bit of whale like provides a community for like all these different creatures eating on it for years and years, but eventually it goes away. Like there's eventually going to be no whale left.
Right.
So you need to pivot. You need to have something else.
Right, and that's what I'm getting ready for. I mean, I don't think there's ever gonna be. See, people see it and like part 7 isn't gonna be animated for another 10 years. And yeah, that's probably true. But like, eventually it does run dry. People's interests change. I like, especially with like we talked earlier about like the stuff with YouTube notifications,
Yeah.
and I don't necessarily think it's people being disinterested in the videos that I'm watching. Like I put out a video about my favorite JoJo figure. It's the Joseph Joestar one. That video like sat at 20K views for like almost a week, and then just jumped up to 100,000 views. And
Sounds like our Diesel video.
right, right. And it's just like I wonder too, like sometimes I get a little discouraged, like, oh, maybe, no one's interested anymore, and that's fine. But that's actually I see that as an opportunity to like experiment now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because I know when part 6 comes out, I'm gonna go back to weekly memes like I did with every single new episode. I'm gonna go into stand sciences. I've scripted ones for like Diver Down, Stone Free. I just want to wait until that comes out so I have like a background to work with.
Stuff on the
Yeah.
back burner ready to go.
Right. I've got stuff planned. I just gotta sort of find things that'll entertain people like in the meantime, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've been kind of using haven't done much part 3 stuff, but kind of like trickling in like the Hunter x Hunter stuff and even
Right.
the upcoming Halloween Chainsaw Man. We're trying to get like other stuff trickled in there, even though we know it's not gonna get many views, but still.
Exactly. But you have to see it as like, well, I put out a video about my favorite movie just in the middle of the summer, which was all about the Blues Brothers. Because
Oh.
I don't know if you guys have watched it. It's incredible.
I've
right?
never seen it before.
Oh, it's so good. But it was the 40th anniversary, so I put out a video for the 40th anniversary. I knew it wasn't gonna get a lot of views, but like that's something for me, and I sort of want to do little projects like that here and there. The whole the whale falling thing, I think, well, to some extent, right? Some of that has already happened in certain areas. I'd
Yeah.
say certain meme formats like Jotaro plays, insert game, right? All of those videos are the same. There was a time when all these video game compilations of Valorant, Overwatch, whatever,
Oh, Overwatch.
they were all using the same JoJo memes in every single one of the video. Right, and they're all the same video at that point. Like I don't want to watch it. I don't find that interesting.
Yeah, they'll do that. Your next line is or whatever, and
Right, and like some of that gets tiring. At
Yeah.
least on my channel, like I try to do a lot of things related to JoJo that aren't the same, right? That aren't
Yeah.
homogenized. And
Try to be
maybe
different.
Maybe that's why I've done as well as I have. But like there's a healthy balance between memes, and then you can turn on the monkey brain for your memes, but then turn on the smart hat for your science videos where you're talking about quantum mechanics and string theory, right?
Yeah, those are
So-
fun. I like the stand science. The idea of doing that, I feel like that's pretty untouched.
Yeah, what was the
Right.
one I remember like just watching like the whole like science of everything and the how it happened with the Who Shot Johnny Joestar thing.
I think Exports did a really good video.
That's
on
Exports.
that.
Okay,
Yeah,
I remember
that's
you sending me
Exports,
that. And I
yeah.
just like
Yeah, he had like someone create like a 3D model for like the whole bit of that town. It was really cool, actually.
Yeah. That's one of his best videos, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I think that's kind of like what Sam had said. Like we're kind of starting to make this more of like have a lot of discussions about just manga, because that is something that like out of JoJo that I'm really passionate about. Is
And,
I
like,
love
I
reading
want-
and discussing manga.
I want more people to read Hunter x Hunter. Like I love it, but I feel like out of like shonen is like not nearly as like
It's pretty big. I don't think
not,
it says
it's not like Dragon Ball Z,
right.
Naruto,
It's not
like-
that big.
and like other than like Super Eye Patch Wolf who like shields it every time he can. It's just like I don't see it nearly as like everybody has to like explain it.
Yeah.
But going back to like what you were kind of saying before, where you want people to come like to you for the content, like I think that is like, this is kind of my cynical hat, putting my cynical hat on. That's kind of like the thing that you want to go for as an internet personality, is like you want to cultivate that sense of like persona and even to an extent, you kind of want to create like a parasocial relationship. I
Yeah.
think
You want the people to come for you and not like
exactly.
Is it
So like
for the
people will
content.
come to Shuck not just for JoJo, but for like, okay, well Shuck is interested in this thing, and I like what Shuck is doing, so
I
I'll
just
check this
like to
thing
hear
out.
them talk about X and Y.
Yeah, that's like some of the YouTubers that I've been super into. That's really been my experience with them. Like I get really into them as like a creator, and then I
Same.
find so many new things that they're interested in, and then I get interested in it like
Right, because
subsequently.
that can open the door for like you learning about different things, you as a viewer learning about different things outside of your comfort zone, outside of your niche that you're used to.
Yeah.
Right. Not all of it's successful, right? I've been experimenting here and there with different types of videos and different ways of putting out videos. It's high, it's high risk, high reward to change your content, right? There's a lot of channels that do it well. There's a lot of channels that fail, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really, I think it's just so interesting to be able to look at, because YouTube's been around for, like, it's almost 15 years at this point.
Almost, yeah.
Jeez.
So being able to see, like, look at a creator like, for example, Ray William Johnson, and like, at the
Right.
time, he was the biggest guy around, and like, comparing him to like a Penguin's, what's his name? Critical. Like,
Critical, yeah.
who also was around at that time, but like, is still around, and he's bigger than he's ever been because he's pivoted and he's like adapted, and it's so cool to be able to examine like all these creators' history.
Right, and I guess that's sort of the thing that I'm looking forward to. I mean, YouTube isn't my job
Yeah.
as it is for a lot of these creators around
Yeah.
my size. They do YouTube full time. Like especially with like the whole notifications not being accurate and views being whatever and revenue going way up and way down the next month. You know, I don't think I don't think, at least at my size, it's totally financially viable for, the stuff I want to do. That's why I'm still in school. I'm still working on my master's degree and stuff. But
Mhm.
like I guess one of the long-term goals is to maybe branch out science into more aspects of manga and anime, maybe not just JoJo's.
That sounds like a great framework to work with, honestly.
Right,
Mhm.
because this is where I want to start, because it's like what I'm the most passionate about, right?
What are you getting your master's in? I'm guessing it's some sort of science.
Yeah, it's nuclear engenering.
Oh,
Oh
jeez.
shit! Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's tough. I've had a lot of long nights. I was up until like 2 last night.
Oh, that's nothing.
Damn.
I have like lots of deadlines every Friday. It sucks because like they have Friday deadlines, and then I just do some background work. I try to do some like little editing once I'm done with that. But it's interesting for sure. Like I definitely love the work I'm doing for school, though. I don't know if you guys have or know people in this situation, if you guys are, but like I'm not particularly good at programming, and like
Yeah, no.
all of the stuff in my field is all programming based.
Oh, really?
Trust me, I tried to do like getting the coding and everything. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's definitely that's one of the harder aspects of it, which is why. See, it's so funny because like I can know people who code like it's a second language to them,
Hmm.
but they can't edit a video. And to me, I taught myself how to edit.
Yeah.
Just my parents were in the photography industry. My mom was she had a extra copy of Adobe
Oh,
Premiere
wow.
Elements 7. So this is
Wow.
going back way back.
Wow, that's so cool. That's so cool
Yeah.
that you're able to get exposed to that at like such a young age.
Right, and that's just what I started on, and I've been using it, not 7 specifically. I'm on Premiere Elements 19, but I use it all the time, and like it's like a second nature to me. That's one thing I've loved too about YouTube is that I can take that program, which shouldn't be able to do what I do with it, and make it work. Because if I forked over the $500 a year on Pro, right, a lot of this stuff could be a lot easier and a lot better and a lot quicker. But at the same time, like I don't want to make that investment just yet because, like I said,
Yeah.
I don't think it's at the point where it's a career choice for me.
Yeah, that's such a big, like, terrifying step. And
Yeah.
for me, like, I have a full-time job, and even with that, like, it feels like it's hard to find the time to spend
Oh,
on the
absolutely.
channel.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm always thinking of, like, all these little things, like, I kind of want to make, like, a little video maybe, and
I would love to get into video editing, but like I have a problem where I can't listen to my own voice without like cringing super hard.
You know, we all go through it.
I've been like that ever since.
Yeah,
I
I've
also
just
hate
learned to
pictures of
accept it.
myself. Like I can't like see or hear myself.
Yeah, I do all like the audio editing for the podcast, so I have long gotten past the hatred I feel for my own voice. It's
Exactly.
like whatever now.
Yeah.
I can't. It hurts me still
Mhm.
to this day.
But yeah, like in the future, we want to like at least I know Sam might not admit to this, but I kind of would like to do some sort of like fun face reveal video.
I do it. I do a face reveal, but I'm not gonna watch the face reveal.
But I'm trying to think of like, oh, how can I like format this into a video, and like how can I make this an interesting video to watch? And
Right.
Like,
yeah,
like I've taken cosplay pictures of myself, but have I looked at them that often? No.
No, yeah. Yeah. I get it too. I get it. Yeah.
It's just I don't know. When you're kind of self-conscious, it kind of like gets like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's part of the reason why I don't want to do a face reveal ever. Like I'm just like, eh.
And
I
it's
don't
super
want
cool
them to
that-
deep fake my face.
Well, now I want them to deepfake my face. That's the problem.
I mean, it'd be
Yeah,
that'd be
okay
really
to do
funny.
it to the Yakuza song, but that's like it.
Mm.
And then it is really cool, Shuck, that you're able to like you found a whole different way. And I don't know if like at least for me, like I know I haven't done much with my little VTuber thing, but like this is all free. Like all of the resources for like creating and all the program stuff was all free. Like
Yeah.
being able to have that as like a free alternative is such a cool thing for creators nowadays.
People keep making free software, man.
It's great. There's so much open source stuff out
Yeah.
there. It's great.
I paid for mine because like when it comes to time investment, like I don't have the time to sit down and learn Vroid well enough.
Yeah.
Like I know the basics, right? But I don't know it well enough to like design my own character, right?
When
No,
when
yeah, it's a pain.
But definitely like the fact that the recording software is free, that OBS is free, that you can do
Oh, yeah.
so much of this. Audacity is free. Like it's so accessible right now to everyone. And I think that's why you're seeing a spike in just people, not only like people who cover JoJo's, but people online in general covering
live
different
streaming in general blew up
Yeah.
like crazy.
things. Exactly.
We have a
Like-
lot of people in our community who, like, I made a little self-promotion Discord, like, channel for people to just post their own stuff, and, like, I've seen so many, like, super new people just like, oh, wow, it's so fun. I can just, like, make a video talking about JoJo, and it's like, yeah, you can. Like,
Yeah.
go for it, dude.
We do it. We're two goobers who just talk about it. Like,
Right. So like what would you say, because I get this question a lot, to people who are looking to start a JoJo channel? Like, do you ever get those, or do you ever run into that?
I just say this
Interesting.
because this is like how my mindset was going into just doing this podcast. Is to just like be you. Don't try to fake anything. Just honestly, just be truthful and like I don't know, make it just be yourself. And like if
Yeah.
you do it with your friend, like it's always like a lot easier. Like we
if
do.
if you're not passionate about it to talk about it, then like maybe that's not the best way to go about it. Maybe there's something else you can do to express your creativity. But like if you really like, for us, I mean, we don't really do too much of a visual component. It's mostly just a podcast that we do. But for me, like podcasts are so much fun to record and to listen to. So that's something that I like was gravitated to. So I would say whatever kind of content you were into, and like this is me talking to the fictional viewer, that you were into, I would say try your hand at that. Like, it takes effort to put it out there, but there's like really nothing to lose from just putting stuff out there.
Yeah.
Like Sam and I put a shitty podcast out for a year. We did a podcast before we did this one called the Neon Cast, where we would talk about a Catgirl anime every episode.
Yeah.
And like we had no viewers for that. We had no listeners, but it was a way for us to like get comfortable in like a podcast setting, start to learn like how to play off each other. And it was also just a fun way to hang out with my friends. So
Yeah.
I mean, just do what is fun at the time too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending
See,
if you podcast or actual video making is up to you.
Right. I would always say like I would love to see people be interested in things, but it brings us back around to like what I said about Pokemon YouTubers. I kind of want to avoid, and this is why I try to cover topics that a lot of other people haven't covered. I want to avoid that sameness, right?
Yeah.
Where it doesn't become about the individual as much as those videos like are about the individual opinions, right? I feel like it's so homogenized to where people aren't watching it for the individual anymore. They're watching it just to see what other people enjoy, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder like if that's going to happen to JoJo's, right? Which is why, like I said, I want to stick away from other people's content and other things they do. That's why like there's no JoJo stop motions, there's no JoJo science videos. Like that's the niche that I want to sort of build out.
Like when we started this part 8 stuff, like we kind of realized there wasn't that much part 8 like podcast or anything. We're like the only one really.
It's funny because they're actually like we had been doing it for a few months, and then there was another one that popped up called the BROKAKAKA podcast, and which was I thought it was really funny.
We
and
lived.
I always felt good when we got like one more view than them because we were still getting like no views at the time.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they've ended their podcast, Rip and Roast BROKAKAKA podcast.
We lived.
We lived.
So sad.
But
yeah, I think that's the coolest thing about the internet, though, is that it is a way to express creativity in unconventional ways. Like, so many people look at art and they're like, oh, I wish I could draw, but they don't want to put the time and effort into it. But, like, everyone already talks, so if you want to just, like, throw your voice out there, it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
not the hardest thing.
Yeah, it's
get comfortable.
It's not terribly difficult to get into, but I feel like some people also worry about just getting trapped in JoJo's, right? Because these perspective, like hypothetical people asking questions, you know, they see the big numbers, right? Oh, this video gets 1 million views just for a stupid Gyacho meme or whatever, right? And they think, oh, I can do that too, and I can do it better. But it's like, yeah, but is that gonna make you happy, right?
Yeah.
Is that gonna be the stuff that defines you as a content creator, right? It's kind of why I don't necessarily like when comments are just like, make whatever content you want and, you know, screw the algorithm. And it's like, well, that's not how that works. Like, you know,
don't stress out the algorithm.
You could destroy your whole channel just based off of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're not careful, right? So I don't know.
Yeah. Something that came up to me earlier, and I didn't mention it until I just remembered it now, but the whole idea of like being trapped in JoJo or like being trapped in JoJo content.
JoJo hell.
Like this is kind of I feel like there already exists a case study for this exact fan base and phenomenon on the internet, and I can't believe more people don't draw the comparison. But bronies are like the old JoJo fans. Like JoJo fans are just the new bronies. In so many ways.
Okay, explain.
So. The one thing that is kind of different is like My Little Pony is obviously like a show for children. So I mean, JoJo isn't a show for children. Like it's a show for like whatever younger people. But like there was this humongous fan explosion around like the My Little Pony cartoon and bronies. There was like so many like analytical YouTube channels, like thousands of like animations. There was like all these other websites, like huge fucking communities of fan fiction writing and stuff like that. Yeah. And it like hardcore fizzled out, and because the show ended recently, I think I don't know. I mean, I don't really
follow
like,
it.
I'm not really in tune with that, but like I'm very aware of like it as a fandom.
Digi bro.
Gosh.
Yes,
but yeah,
Digi was someone who I followed like a ton back in the day. I used to really like Digi. But yeah, it's really I think like the JoJo community could easily like go into. I think it's very traceable to like bronies. Honestly, I would say there's probably definitely more content to draw from, though.
Right, but maybe I don't. So, like, I've been noticing the more unsavory aspects of the community ever since Tumblr got like dead until it became like a not viable option for people, and then they all migrated to Twitter and YouTube and Reddit and everything, and it's been an experience, that's for sure. I mean, I don't. See, I think that's why you see a lot of videos right now complaining about JoJo fans, right?
Yeah.
That Cosmonaut Variety Hour video got to trending. It was like number 20 on trending, like the YouTube trending page, over complaining about JoJo fans and why JoJo is bad, right? Or why he doesn't like JoJo's. I don't want to misrepresent his opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you're gonna see more of that, especially because there's all these handles like Kakyoin's used gym sock or whatever on Twitter.
Milf Hunter, Kakyoin me.
Right, yeah. There's stuff like that is just like, okay, but why? Right? Maybe I don't get Zoomer humor, but
But like
I definitely
a
don't.
lot of fan bases are just like it's going to cons. Just can kind of get the vibe of like the community. Like there are some annoying JoJo people. I've seen like annoying My Hero people, but like there are some cool people. Like I remember like when I went to like a One Piece group meetup, and like there were people that were really cool, not annoying. Like except for the Luffy cosplayers. Luffy cosplayers were very annoying.
See, I don't think it's a different type of toxicity. But like I think there's gradations to it. I tried to cover this in like some of my other videos, some of my older videos from the summer, just about like how toxicity has grown and like developed. I think it's different than like My Hero Academia or Demon Slayer, where those are so mainstream that Tanjiro has the wrong type of earring, and then they want to cancel the show or the writer or whatever over something as like
the Nezuko stuff in general.
Right. I don't think JoJo's is at that stage yet, but I think like we saw maybe a little bit of a glimpse of that from the newest chapter, where people were super upset.
I mean, if you really think about it, like I love Trish, but she's 15 years old, and all the stuff that happens with her, like, and they missed it in her by like fueling her up, essentially. Like,
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, the Joshu thing, I think that's a very interesting thing to look at, because there were so many people that like were totally forgiving of Joshu. They were totally like on board with Joshu. They were like coming up with all these excuses for him and all this stuff, and it's like you have to like just look at what's happening here and like acknowledge that Joshu is doing something that is like Yasuo does not want him to do. Like he's denying her of agency, and it's wrong. And it's weird that so many people are trying to like backpedal for Joshu. And it's like you can like a character that has like that's not a good guy, but when you
like
come
Rohan.
up with excuses, yeah, like Rohan's a perfect example. But like it just felt really weird, and I wonder if that's just because maybe a lot of these JoJo fans are pretty young and they just haven't really like they don't really have that perspective yet.
Well, that's the thing.
So,
JoJolion is a seinen. Like,
so
I think you forfeit your right to start complaining about that when you're watching or reading an M-rated thing or playing an M-rated game, right? You can get upset, right? But again, it's supposed to tackle.
This isn't Jolene trying to
like
masturbate.
that.
Come on, guys. I'm trying to think, just like, is this chapter came out weekly, and like part 7? Imagine all the Lucy stuff, people like all the stuff that happens to her in general, and the people be questioning it like every week.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
The stuff with the vice president or the first lady, rather.
First lady, the whole her getting pregnant essentially.
Right,
like
that's
funny being creepy.
But
to
that
her.
comes from the perspective of a villain, so people don't necessarily get super upset. See, what people have to realize about Joshu is that everything was super consistent with his character.
Yeah,
right.
We pointed that out.
That was like one of my when I was analyzing Joshu. I think in my JoBro video, I was like, yeah, he's kind of like. He goes from like this super weird pervy guy to like the hero who will kick Yasuo next to the outlet so she can escape, right? But then you realize if you look at all of his actions in every single arc he's in, right, they're all consistent. And like that's just how his character is written.
Yeah.
And I think, there's probably something deeper. There's a deeper reason why he acts the way he does in the newest chapter. But I don't want to say, oh, that's okay that he acts that way because that's how he's written. I don't think it is. I think it's, very much not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one thing that I think we talked about it when we did our last podcast on it. But like, I'm by no means criticizing the writing that Araki's doing here. Like, I'm totally fine with everything he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's literally just the fan interpretation of, like, you have all these people that are, like, they love Joshu. Like, they're Joshu stans, so they want Joshu to have that redemption arc. And then when he doesn't, they're trying to come up with all these reasons of, like, oh, no, but he still could. It's like, you have to just actually look at the work that's being written and, like, as you said, like, Joshu has been very consistent. Like, he is a big fuck up. So
Yeah, I think we said he
of course his
gave him a
redemption
chance
is
and he
gonna fuck
ruined it.
Right. I think
Exactly.
it goes deeper than him just being like a joke character, though. I think like there's probably some like mental like inhibition or something that's keeping him from realizing his full potential, because like you said, people do want to see him succeed. They do want him to be good, and like saving Yasuho in like, what was that, chapter 95 or something, where people got so excited.
Yeah.
Right. But again, like, he's probably because of all of this, right? He's probably one of the more interesting characters Araki's written, at least to me, because I like seeing characters like that. But
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of criticism of Araki's writing from the newest chapter, and I don't, like I said, all of that comes from Twitter, and Twitter's already a garbage heap to begin with, right? But I think, like, again, a lot of that is not warranted because this is a seinen manga, and people should realize it. Like, there are children JoJo fans, and like, to me, I like, not to like disrespect the younger audience, but I don't know how I would be involved in JoJo at a young age, right? I was more into One Piece, I was more into Pokemon, because
Same.
there are deeper themes in this manga that I don't think I could wrap my head around if I were younger, right? And that's not to say
I'd say
young
more
people
so
are
with even Part
stupid,
8
but
too.
it's just like they find it easier to comprehend themes from like a show like One Piece or a show like Pokemon or
Like, I was a
things
kid,
like
I'd be able to
that.
consume like
Naruto.
Dragon Ball Z and Naruto
Yeah,
like, very easily.
exactly. They're
Spiky hair guy does beam, and that's like, haha.
nuance. Nuance is the word I'm looking for.
Yes,
There's a lot of nuance
exactly.
that is lost on people who are younger, and especially with the newest chapter, I think that some people got upset for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I would pretty much agree with that. And I think, like, another character that's, like, very ambiguous up until pretty recently was Jobin. Like, for most of the manga, up until he murders Ojiro and Ojiro's
Girlfriend.
Yeah.
I would say that he was handled very ambiguously, as like, this guy could either, like, from terms of like a plot like standpoint, he could either become a villain or he could be like not a good guy, but
Tragic
like,
hero, like something like that.
yes.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, obviously right now we don't know if he's dead or alive. I'm pretty sure he's not dead. But
It's pretty bad. I mean, he's got like something's gonna happen to him. I don't know. Maybe he's dead, maybe he's not. I haven't decided yet. I think he's probably not, but yeah.
yeah, I think we've got a little bit more of JoJolion left, so having him die this way, like, people are trying to compare him to Hot Pants, like, oh, is he gonna get Hot Pants and just like
I mean, he
killed and then
could.
forgotten
Yeah,
about?
that's the
He
worst. That's the worst part of Steel Ball Run, I think.
Yes,
I think
would agree.
they did Hot Pants dirty. Like, because it just happens, and then it's like, over. It's like, oh, my heart.
Yeah, and it sucks because Hot Pants is so good. Like, Hot Pants is so
She was
fucking
one
awesome.
of the best written characters. But, like, again, Araki does do that, suddenly. Like, Death
I mean,
in
Dev
JoJo's, yeah.
can
Yeah.
be sudden, like Abdul, like,
Right.
second time. And the first time, I guess.
Right, or
Birth time,
Narancia. Like, it's
Yeah.
not out of his character as a
That's, like, the
writer
most
to
heartbreaking.
do that. So that's why
Narancia's
I'm
death is
saying,
so
like,
heartbreaking.
maybe he is dead. Maybe he's just going to move on. I personally don't think that the Wonder View arc is going to be the last fight in JoJolion.
Oh yeah,
But like I said, it comes down to this ending. If it sticks the ending, this is going to be top 3 favorite parts. If it doesn't, if there are too many, because I feel like every chapter that goes on where there isn't a resolution to the Josuke Rai Toru fight, I feel like it's getting like more threads are opening in the plot. Because like we always saw that there were 2 Rokakaka fruit, but we didn't know that one was ripe or ripe enough to eat right now. Right.
Yeah.
So then what happens to the countdown? Like I always think that Araki writes best when he has a specific countdown or a specific time frame to write in. Right.
I think I said in our last episode that I think the countdown could be for the other fruit and not the one that she ate.
Yeah.
Right.
It was always for the second fruit, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, like I said, I just think this is the first time one of the factions in JoJolion has eaten the fruit, right? I was expecting like a little more fanfare, or like not fanfare, but you know what I'm saying, like a little, like it to impact
sudden,
a little bit more than this, you know. And maybe we were all distracted by Joshu, but like
yeah, we still have yet to see the real effects. Like there could be like, well, Sam had suggested this great idea that Paisley Park is now going to have like Nut King Call's ability or something.
Oh, that would be insane. I would love
on the
that.
arm. Yeah. But like,
so yeah,
but then going back and like seeing, I went back and check out the whole time up to like 3 minutes, and like seeing Joshu had both his hands and he's using the right arm to like drink his coffee.
Yeah.
I'm just like, now, like, how? What's gonna happen?
Right.
So many questions.
And
right.
He lost his
I
tongue.
didn't even think about that.
And he lost his tongue.
Yeah, he did.
I think I say, but like, there's still so much we just don't know.
Yeah.
It's like the running theme.
I was joking with someone. I was like, you know, what if they just introduced time travel to get us to that other countdown or whatever?
No.
Like some kind of bites the dust, like rehash or reintegration, you know?
I mean, if Kira had sheer heart attack, I mean, why not? Maybe
Right.
Gappy awakens.
Bites the dust.
dust.
Soft and wet bites the dust.
Because it appears in the eye, and he tears at the violets.
Yeah.
Or irises.
I don't know. I find the stuff though with Josuke so interesting, and that's what is this going to be like? 2 months before we see any resolution to
Who knows?
the spin?
It
Maybe
was
more.
It took 10 months to get back to Yashiho, so
I know. Yeah, she was dying for like almost a whole year.
Yeah.
I remember Aeon saying like it was 10 months that Yashiho's been suffering
Yeah.
in JoJolion.
That's so sad.
I know, Rip and Rose. I love Yasuo.
She's
my
back,
favorite.
and
She's back and better than ever.
she's gonna
Right.
do the nut punch on Toru probably.
Toru, yeah.
The nut punch.
See, I could very easily see her versus Toru being like a thing that's actually gonna go down, and then Josuke versus the stand Wonder of You.
Using Paisley Park to somehow get to him
Right.
without actually pursuing him.
Maybe, yeah. I mean,
She follows the phone,
That's
not
interesting.
following him. I don't know.
We'll see. Only time will tell.
Right.
And I'm very excited. I really hope that JoJolion goes on for a clip more, because
As long as we don't get
I
a
kind of
Hunter x
agree,
Hunter
like-
hiatus, we're good.
yeah, no more hiatus. Didn't we have 2 hiatuses this year? Actually,
two
I think?
hiatuses, because he always does one in like February or whatever.
Yeah.
And which is fine.
He got distracted by Rohan live action OVAs being
Right.
Yeah, board
announced.
meetings. He had to sit in probably.
Yeah, probably. I mean, like I was saying, I just wish in the most recent chapter there was a little less of the here's equivalent exchange again, and more of like stuff going on, because we know at this point what it is. We've had an explanation of equivalent exchange in
If
almost every
FMA
chapter.
taught us one thing, is you have to explain what equivalent exchange is every time you can.
I know every time.
In case the watcher forgets.
Yeah.
But
I mean, part of that is like the whole monthly run. I feel like if it was weekly, he wouldn't have to keep reminding people, you know?
yeah, that's why a
Yeah.
lot of mangas also have a small recap in the first page or two.
Yeah.
In text.
Yeah.
One thing that kind of gave me a little hope for the future, and maybe I'm wrong, so someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in the newest volume of JoJolion to come out, in like the character pages, it did actually have Kyo. Kyo was listed there as a character.
Thank God.
So
Thank
there's
God.
hope yet.
There is hope yet. God, my maid waifu, I need her back.
She's so good.
She's like one of the best. Oh,
the daughter to Holly is being an important character. It's impossible. God.
It's sad. It saddens me.
Yeah.
One day, maybe. And then she gets like killed like cop pits.
So now, where would you guys rank JoJolion? Like in your favorite parts?
Like part 7's up there. It's probably my favorite. Right now I don't think it's better than part 7. I'm not. But then I kind of hold my judgment until it's done.
Right.
Probably
Yeah,
probably
I
be in my
see it.
top 3 to be honest.
I see it as like an upper middle pack contender. Like,
Yeah.
I really do want to, I want to reread it soon. As it's kind of well, it's not wrapping up, but like I want to like refresh myself on a lot of things. But once it's over, I'll have a definitive one. But right now, I think it's like very middle of the pack. Like I think I think there's a few other parts that just work better to me. But it's also the benefit of having the entire story. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Because to me, like 4 is in the middle of mine, and I would put it at or equal to maybe a little bit better in some aspects, a little bit worse than 4. I just think with 4, it had a slow start, and like I said when I went over the basement order, you need that slow start because part 3 is so climactic and so like insane that you have to take your falling action, take a little time to rest and relax. And the way part 4 concludes with everything coming together, right, is just so good to see. And I want to see that in JoJolion. I really do. But I don't know if there's too many threads loose right now to where that will come together.
There's a long list of unanswered questions.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't feel like in part 4 where we did have a lot of these stand users introduced. And like the thing I love about 4 so much is the vibe and like it's like a small town story, and it really feels like that, like the way it uses characters and introduces characters.
Yeah. Like the guy with the luck was like their info guy, and
but this it's
all
like
that stuff.
JoJolion is so much more streamlined in terms of characters. Like it's a lot more. There's fewer characters, but there's more to them. So it doesn't feel like we can have this kind of big like, and this character that I saw before, and this character, because like. The only characters that haven't really shown up for a while are like the big missing ones, like Carrera.
All the female characters except for Mitsuko
Carrera
and
and
Yasha.
Kyo, and
Kato. She's
Kato.
been gone. And if either of those two characters just show up at the end, like I kind of feel like some of that will just steal the tension away from the whole Wonder of You fight that it was building up. Like it seems like the groups that are all involved are so close knit, and just have one of them spearhead their way into that and be like, haha, I want the fruit now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to
really
see that.
weird.
Yeah.
You thought my stand was the cards. It's White Snake. Haha. Something like that.
Yeah.
It's White Snake, but with cards instead of CDs. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Only time will tell. And that's the fun thing. That's what I love about JoJolion, being here for it. It's like, you do get to come up with these really wacky little theories every
so
chapter.
interesting.
The whole showing Lucy thing and probably having Lucy stuff now is even like crazier.
We had Dio in the part. I'm happy.
Got Enya.
He made his way.
Yeah, freaking Enya in this.
Yeah.
Someone actually just commented on one of our really old episodes. It's actually the episode where Toru is introduced, and Sam asks me, he's like, "What do you think of Toru?" And I'm like, "Main villain?" And I'm just kidding. And someone just commented that, and it's like, it's just really funny to be able to like look back like a year and a half ago at
right, because I think when I did my stand tier list, Wonder of You was just revealed, like hanging over Josuke in the hallway or whatever. And I'm like, it's got arm blades, probably a B tier stand. And people still bring that up to this day. They're like,
that's so funny.
Shuck doesn't know what he's talking about. He said Wonder of You is B tier.
I thought it was gonna be like a weird had a car's arm blades, and then he's gonna use it like the hand.
Yeah,
he's gonna cut space and like cut teleport. Or something.
Yeah. But no.
He has arm blades that he has to conceal under his suit, I guess.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll see the return of those arm blades.
I mean, those are legit clothes. He kept Devin in there.
But I hope, so Toru's being built up kind of more than Chocolata, kind of more than Steely Dan, he's being built up for a beatdown of sorts.
Yeah.
And I would just love to see soft and wet whale on him. And, as the clothes sort of fade, you see that skeleton-like design of the stand, throughout the whole thing. But
It'll
we
be
can
a
hope.
dual
We can hope.
beatdown.
Well, that was someone said something about like it probably is Anstar because Anstar is always tweeting like really like good Prussian theories, but
Yeah.
like it could be like we're ramping up to a conclusion to this arc where Josuke is beating up the Wonder of You while Yasuo is beating up Toru like simultaneously. Like
Yeah.
that is the
That would be
coolest shit.
insane. Yeah. I would love to see it.
It would feel so good.
7-page nut with the nut arm.
Seven-page nut.
That has been my
Or,
bold
like
prediction.
switching between the two of them, simultaneously. One page is one page is the other, and it goes on for like a while.
And Toru
That'd
just
be
falls
so
apart.
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Toru falls apart and becomes the new corpse parts.
Basically.
But
But yeah,
anything?
do we have anything else we want to talk about, or we want to start wrapping this up maybe?
Yeah. Any other questions you guys have for me? Just about like channel or JoJo, anything? Otherwise, we can wrap it up.
We
think I
talked
really
a lot
got-
about JoJo.
Yeah.
You're in the YouTube clusterfuck.
Yeah, thank you for going so deep into that. Like, that was something we talked a lot about with exports, and I find it so interesting because, like, obviously, I've been on YouTube since I was, like, a fucking teenager,
Oh,
like,
same,
early
yeah.
teenager.
Yeah.
So, like, seeing it from, like, a different perspective, because obviously, like, I mean, I think our little podcast is successful, but we're still very small when it comes to, like, the YouTube space, but seeing, like, the perspective of what it's like to have so much more and how there's all these, like, new challenges and all these different like weird things that get in your way.
There definitely are, because you want to. These challenges sort of force you into a burnout state, and that's something I've
Yeah.
been trying to avoid, like the plague, which is incredibly hard, especially with a full-time job and being at school full-time.
Yeah.
It's harder and harder, like the bigger you get, because then there's this new expectation for your fans. So like
Yeah.
if a video doesn't perform well, it's like, oh my god, what did I do?
And then it's public too. Like people be like, "Oh, Shuck only got 2,000 or 20,000 views on that one video." Like, wow.
Yeah, and then they'll be thinking, oh, only 10% of his views watch, or his followers watch his stuff. Guess it's time to unsubscribe or whatever.
Yeah.
Or it's a like I said earlier, when people say, oh, just do what you want to do. Well, if one video doesn't perform well, then the next video will perform a little less well. And you sort of have to, it can be a negative feedback loop if you don't take care of it enough. But again, part of that might be because YouTube doesn't have their stuff together with their algorithm, which I think that's actually a majority of it. When I saw PewDiePie perform a little poorly, then I was like, okay, this isn't just a one-off thing. Something bigger is going on.
Yeah. It's super fascinating. And yeah, I wanted to thank you again for coming on our humble little show and
Yeah, anytime.
chatting with us.
It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah. One of our most requested.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll play some more Among Us. We'll get exports and maybe
Oh,
the people
totally.
It's
here.
been a while since I played that.
Yeah.
So
I don't have time to play games during the weeks, really. Not that
Mm-hmm.
much at all, but like weekends are pretty free for me.
yeah. Most of the time after work, I hop on PlayStation and play like Monster Hunter or like
Yeah,
Yakuza,
yeah.
a little bit of Yakuza, but like I just feel like don't have time to really sit down and really play anything.
Mm.
Oh
Sucks.
yeah. The one thing I've been obsessed with lately has been Hades. I've been like utterly
So
obsessed
good.
with that game. It's so
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
I'm so
So.
sad. I have too many games. I just got the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon remake and Battle for Bikini Bottom, that remake, and I haven't started either of them yet. And I'm like, this is so sad. I just want to sit back, play some stuff. That's probably why I have this the VTuber rig too. Just so I can do something a little more chill with people, and
Yeah.
like I said, it's that is my recommendation, like to you guys, making it about your personality, the banter you have with each other and with guests, and
Yeah.
people will come and people will watch, and I think they'll love it. I think you guys do a good job.
They'll love me mispronouncing
you so
stuff
much.
more and more. So
That's another one of the funny Sam things. Is
Yeah.
mispronouncing every name.
Nah, that's okay. I do it all the time.
I have horrible pronunciation, so it's part of my charm.
But yeah, thank you. It's just
Yeah.
I find this whole thing so much fun. Like everything about like meeting up with Sam, just hanging out, like talking about JoJo, something that we're both really passionate about, and then putting it out there and getting the response it's just so much fun for me.
Yeah.
So,
And
Awesome.
yeah, so let us know anytime you want to play Among Us. So let us know at least one of us might be able to.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm trying to like I really want to start doing like weirder things too. Not weirder, but like I want to start doing like more collab stuff and like just like I guess podcasts with other guests. Like I don't know if you've ever played the Danganronpa games, but we were talking about doing
I love them.
like
Absolutely.
Oh hell yeah.
But God, why didn't we talk about that? So I got a video coming out for the anniversary, the 10-year.
Is it really 10 years?
10 years since the first game. So it's actually not about the first game. It's about V3. Ooh,
The best one.
Thank you.
You
Thank
get one.
you.
You get one question. Is best girl?
Oh, Miu.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
I had a.
I love Mia so much.
Not Mekon, but okay. Mia's great though.
Okay.
Econ die.
See here. All right. Quick question before we finish. Thoughts, to be ambiguous as possible. Thoughts for people who haven't played it. Thoughts on the ending of V3. Love it.
I liked
hate
it.
Go.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best endings to a game I've ever played. I think it's like
It caught me very off guard, and not many games like really did that.
Right.
I know that there's a lot of like apparently people don't like it. Like there's a lot of people
hate
very
it.
negative.
People hate it. But
I think it's like so I don't know. I think it's really one of those self-aware like it kind of points the mirror back at you and it's just like oh yeah, like this is what you are.
There are so many interpretations too of the ending of like
right.
whether
That's
it's
what
like
I'm working on.
legit or
like,
not.
Is a sort of a recap of the series and then just analyzing the ending and why I think, it's an insane ending. It's one of the most memorable endings to
And
any
it probably
video game.
probably my favorite set of characters in a Danganronpa game.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, V3, yeah. I think the ending is just fascinating. I think they like pitch perfect nail it. I don't want to spoil it here because I think that it's something that like
Everybody should play it.
That's why I said be
experiencing it-
ambiguous because like people haven't played it. And usually I don't usually like so my whole rule on spoiler alerts, especially for my channel. I mean, you guys talk about like current JoJo chapters, so like you don't need a spoiler alert before your videos, but like I always try to be like, okay, if the manga's been out for years on end, I can talk about whatever. If it's been out for like the most recent chapter of JoJolion, I'll let people know. If it's for a video game, I'll probably tell people, hey, there's a little spoiler alert coming up because like you actually have to pay money to like, and then on top of that, the time investment. Some of these games could be 60 hours. I think Danganronpa V3 is 40 hours, which is insane. But also, like...
It's a visual novel, too.
I think
in a
that's
way.
why the characters work so well, is that they were given so much more time to develop and flesh out than the other games.
yeah.
Great voice
love it.
acting, like...
I
as well.
absolutely like love the Danganronpa games. Huge recommendation for me.
Oh,
Same.
yeah. Same.
Yeah. There's actually another game I heard about recently. I don't know if it's made by one of the Danganronpa guys.
It's I think the ex Danganronpa. He's the guy who created like, the first three game. I think he left to do another game, and it's like
Yeah, and they have the artist from Pokemon Sun and Moon or whatever working on it. Yeah.
It's like
Is it the?
it's like
is
little
it the
children
one
at like a theme park or something.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
yeah.
no. I'm thinking of something else. There's this other game. Or maybe it is the same thing. There's another game where like I think the main character's name is like Lady Deathkill or something. And I think maybe I'm mixing it up. I probably shouldn't talk about it too much, but I think it's like an FMV game. And it's got like very it has like this crazy plot. I just heard about it on like another podcast. They were talking about it, but they said it's very like Danganronpa inspired, where like the events of the actual story are like insane, but the actual like murder that you're solving is like this really mundane thing. But people play it like multiple times, and there's like multiple ways to get to the same conclusion. I need to look it up.
That's crazy, yeah.
We'll look forward to the Danganronpa cast.
Yeah, definitely. I know because I think Aeon is into those as well, and we were talking about doing one like forever ago.
It's like Aeon or Mastermind, one of them.
I think it was both actually.
We'll put it out there and like see who wants it.
Yeah, right. Oh, damn,
I
I'm
have to
trying
go back
find
and
that.
play like at least like one, because that's like the one I haven't played in the longest time.
Yeah.
But all right, any other
No,
thing?
That's it.
Yeah, I
On my
think-
end, yeah.
I think we'll wrap it up here. This has been a ton of fun.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thanks again.
Well, as the guest, you get to plug your stuff in first.
Oh, yeah. So you can follow me, the Shuckmeister YouTube channel, at the Shuckmeister on Twitter. Shuckpost Crusaders on Reddit. other little places here and there.
Nice.
Yeah, and you've seen me around probably at least once.
You may have heard of you.
Yeah.
All right, and I guess thank you everybody for listening this far. I'm not sure if you want to do the question at the end and see if people were listening. Or Shuck wants to put a question out there.
Yeah, sometimes we'll do. For these long ones, we'll put in like a really random question at the end, and like it'll be like, okay, comment this question or like answer this question and proves that you made it to this far. Do you have a funny idea for one?
Ooh, Danganronpa related. Unless it's too niche, maybe.
I don't think it's too niche.
All right,
I
so
would say-
something
let's
I mean,
do
they
Danganronpa.
can say didn't play it if they didn't.
yeah, just say you didn't play it. Best trial. So like you could say like 1-1 or 3-2 or just
that's
like
a
a
good
number
idea.
dash and then a number of the trial. So game dash number of the trial.
Also, yeah, that's great because before any of us answer that, I think that'll be what we take into when we do the Danganronpa one in the future. That can be one of the things we all bring in. Like we bring in our favorite trial.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, and then
right, yeah.
that's your question, everyone. And then so yeah, please like, comment, all that fun stuff. Subscribe,
All that fun stuff.
all that fun stuff. Check out, we have our party discussion podcast, our Hunter x Hunter stuff, everything in the channel. Please check out everything, every backlog beyond
all the-
past
And
episode.
hit the notification bell.
Yeah.
Oh,
hit
yeah,
that-
that's true. We don't
Subscriptions
say
don't
that.
mean anything anymore.
hit that monkey flipping bell.
Yep.
And follow the podcast and all of us each on Twitter and join the Discord. Both of the Discords, I guess.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Anything else I'm missing?
No, I think that's it. All right. And just one final thank you, listeners, for listening, and also thanks Shuck for joining us.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah.
Like this was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Hell
If
yeah.
if we didn't have like work today, I would gladly keep it going as long as we could.
Right.
So,
Oh.
All right, and with that, I think we'll sign out. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye. Thank you
Have
for
a beautiful
listening.
doing.
Chew.
Chew.
Chew.